The show that people each and every single day wait for. And we are proud to give you nothing but truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. But as we always open up with the moniker, Big Sills. Wow. We have the numbers. We have seen the all 22 of the Eagle game in its entirety versus the Packers. Last night, we will talk more about the 49ers and a complete thrashing of the New York Jets. Are they the best team in the NFL? I don't know. You still have to hang with the champs until someone knocks them off their perch. Kansas City's still the king. But San Francisco put people on notice last night. They thoroughly beat the hell out of that team last night. I mean, and without McCaffrey on the team. I don't even know. What was the dude's name? What was the running back's name that had 147 yards and 28 carries, undrafted? There shows you there. By the way, Brock Purdy, people are waiting for this dude to turn into a pumpkin. And that dude is not turning into a pumpkin. That guy is efficient. He spreads the football around. I mean, he made the right throws. That's the one thing. He's never late on his throws. I mean, that guy is efficient in every single thing he does. And for a football team that I thought there was a lot of noise because of the Ayuk stuff and the Trent Williams stuff, Trent Williams had to go in for an IV last night. The Jets are not bad. That's just a great football team. They thoroughly took out the whooping board and they took the Jets to the woodshed. 49ers are legit. I mean, wait till they get McCaffrey back and you got that other guy that they're going to be able to kind of put Christian McCaffrey on a pitch count. Holy cow. And it's being talked about that McCaffrey might not even be available for this weekend. They don't need him. I'll tell you one thing that Shanahan system does do. It benefits the running back. Whoever is the running back in that Shanahan system, those guys all prosper, man. That was an absolute thrashing last night. It was like 70 plays to 50 or something. I think the Jets are trying to get that Reddick deal done now after last night. Oh, no, Reddick. It is clearly here that Reddick is 1-0 right now on the season, and the Jets are 0-1. He won that last night. Okay? He did. He won that. So he's 1-0 right now. So what will the Jets do? Will they panic? Most likely, because let's face it, they're the Jets. They're the Jets. Hey, Rodgers wasn't horrible last night. Hurts was the worst quarterback in week 1. And we've got numbers to back that up. Jalen Hurts was the worst quarterback in pro football in week 1. Do you know that? He was the worst. I mean, he wasn't that bad last night, Aaron Rodgers. That's a really good defense. No, senor. Let's go to the numbers. According to Pro Football Focus, the worst quarterback for week 1 was Jalen Hurts. 29-8 overall, making him the worst quarterback for week 1 in the NFL. Passing 33-3 grade. Running 41-2. Jalen Hurts was the worst quarterback after week 1. However you look at Pro Football Focus, a lot of people look at it. I don't think it's the Bible, but his grade was the worst. The worst. But these aren't my numbers. These are not my numbers. Okay? These are not my numbers. By the way, good news for the Packers. Looks like 3 to 6 weeks. He has a sprained MCL. Could have been much worse. Still, San Francisco showed last night is that if you have a system and draft players who fit your system, you can be successful. Mason, Purdy fits Shanahan's system. Lamar fits Baltimore's system. Jalen Hurts is not a fit yet. Yeah, because that system doesn't fit him. JM, these are not my numbers. You had the worst rated quarterback in pro football. Worst rated quarterback in pro football. Deal with it. Deal with it. Okay? I did not come up with, I don't even know how they get these numbers. Okay? Man, fuck them grades. Watson and Rodgers played god-awful compared. Hurts was shitty, dude. Stop doing that. 49ers are the NFC champions. Okay? That's a good football team. Don't kid yourself. Come on, man. Hurts is worse than Daniel Jones. Once again, I did not put these grades out. Let's go knee-deep into it more here. Don't get mad at me. How about this? The worst-rated linebacker in pro football was Nakobe Dean, according to Pro Football Focus. Jalen Carter was even worse at 30. Avonte Maddox at 44.9. And there is Huff at 47.6. These are some of the worst grades for their respected positions after week one. I mean, you got to pick those numbers up defensively if you're going to do anything. And you've got to pick your grades up. Okay? Hold on, Sue. Don't get mad at me, Sue. Wait, I don't even know how they get to these. I have no idea how they got to these numbers. I don't put grades together like this. I don't know. But Pro Football Focus has a lot of people that follow them, and a lot of people use it as a benchmark. I'm convinced PFF is a Cowboy fan. Hey, get this, 215, when I look at them saying that Jalen Hurts was the worst quarterback of week one in the NFL, do I think that? No, I don't think that. Dude, Daniel Jones, get this. Here's what I would say to you about Daniel Jones. Dude, I'm ready to start Drew Lock. I'm convinced I'm ready to start Drew Lock already. Daniel Jones, if you came to me and I was a Giant fan and then you went, hey, Sills, you hear what they're getting ready to do? They're getting ready to start Drew Lock in New York. I go, good. Because Brian Dable needs to save his job. Okay. Do I think Daniel Jones played better than Jalen Hurts? Absolutely not. Do I think Joe Burrow did? No. No, I didn't. I'm just echoing to you what people use as a benchmark that Jalen Hurts was the worst quarterback after week one. And I'm like, really? I don't know. I mean, 200 some odd yards, 70 yards, or 300 yards and I don't know, man. I mean, I know the turnover stunk and the missed throws and a ton of open throws were there. But you go back and watch, there was at least 10 throws he missed. That's an absolute fact. He missed at least 10 throws. That I'm not going to not say. Okay? The first week of regular season football, my top 10 teams and my top 10 quarterbacks will be unveiled today. Zander Krause at 3:30 and Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia will join us at 4:30. Merrill Reese, I can't wait to talk to him. That'll be Wednesday. You know, I think we're going to have to knock on the door of Mark Holmes because the Cowboys had a pretty good week one against the number 1 rated defense in 2023 to Cleveland Browns. So I think we're going to have to make that call to Mark Holmes and get him on with Philly 500. That'll be tomorrow. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. You guys were sensational yesterday. What do you guys make of those numbers that Hurts was the worst quarterback after week 1? Here, let me go down the list. Who do I think was worse than him? Burrow? Dude, I thought Caleb Williams was worse. I thought all the rookie quarterbacks were worse than Hurts. Bryce Young? Sure. Brady was right. The quarterback is being underdeveloped. He is. He is absolutely. Eagles lost their 6th-round pick. Dylan McMahon signed off practice squad by the Rams. Ooh. Damn. Howie's got to go find a backup center now. See, as you know, I trash Eagles front office, head coach, and Hurts whenever I can. But Hurts should have played preseason, and owner GM have destroyed Hurts with 4 OCs. Not destroyed him, but have stunted his growth and wobbled his growth. Jalen Hurts will never have consistent development in Philadelphia as long as he's a Eagle. Because you know why? The organization's not consistent. They're not consistent in anything they do except being inconsistent. So remember what you got to do. You got to remember that. Hurts' development is going to be rocky his entire time. Carson Wentz's was. That's just what it is. I mean, like Zander says, you got to learn to deal with that. You just have to learn to deal with it. Hey, look, these grades from PFF, how about I give you an eyeball test? I mean, I thought Geno played better. Mayfield played way better. Allen was spectacular. Mahomes, shit, even Lamar. The problem I had with Lamar, those missed throws in that game against Kansas City, though, I had a problem with, but he played great. He played great, but missed opportunities. Let's see who else played. Golf was effective. Did he play overly great in that Rams game? No, I don't think he did. Purdy was sensational. You know why Purdy was sensational? They weren't sensational numbers, but he goes to the right guy all the time. He does. He just goes to the right time, the right guy. He does it all the time. Still, the numbers say what they say. Hurts must get better. That being said, there were 16 quarterbacks 0-1 with a better grade. What would they want if you asked them? Of course, to be 1-0. But remember something too, Bob. Playing bad is a precursor to what you're going to do for the year. It's not about being 1-0 or 0-1 right now. Not saying that that's not important, Bob. Okay? I'm not saying that that's not important. You want to win. You want as many wins as possible. I'm with you. However, remember, this is about winning the war, not battles, in my opinion. Okay? So I'm more talking in the first half of the season here. How are you looking? That defense has a lot of issues on it. And just to use PFF and how you look at the grades across the bottom here and not across the top, there is no question. You got underperforming players that played in that game 1. Now, is that going to continue into the Atlanta game on Monday night? Probably not. But this does go into, again, the conversation about preseason football. Sirianni said it again. We're going to talk about Nick because Nick had a press conference this morning, and we're going to go through that. But once again, the Philadelphia Eagles think practice is preparing their football team. And I'll make it very clear to you. There's no question the Eagles, they value availability more than they do having you ready for the start of the season. There is no question because that's been their mantra the whole time that I've covered the team. They care more about your availability. And hey, by the way, I'm not saying that that's a wrong thing because I want my guys available. By the way, thank you guys for your super chats. You depress me. Keep up the good work. Angelo sucks. You depress me too with your shitty takes. You usually are a good take guy until like the 4th hour. Week 1 overreactions. If we still have these issues by week 4, then I'll panic. Daniel, great take. And thank you for the super chat. Great take. All teams will look different September versus January except Kansas City. That's such a good take, 215. You're right. Listen, week 1, what did we learn about the NFL? Nothing. We learned nothing. Nothing. Is Burrow going to play? No. Is Mayfield going to continue 147 quarter? No. No. Okay? No. Is Hurts going to have here? And again, the reason I keep bringing this stat up because it's becoming a trend with him. 18 games, 23 turnovers. That's got to stop. That number right there stops you from being a Super Bowl championship contender. You can have all the great football, but Purdy's not turning the ball over. He's not turning the ball over like that. That's what puts San Francisco in a position like that to be a true Super Bowl contending team. Throws to the right people. By the way, is he sensational? No. Does he have a big arm? No. Does he throw to the right guys? Yes. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is the difference between Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts? What do you think the difference is? What do you think the difference is between those two? Purdy can read defenses. That's a huge part of it. That's a huge part of where I'm going. Hurts is a running back. Crowley is correct, as always. Hurts has to be better. Defense has to be way better. But TBF, they have to been teams that won with shitty. Yes, Crowley. Yes. Pretty smarter. I don't believe that. I think Jalen's an absolutely brilliant quarterback. And I'll tell you one thing that he does have. He's got a lot of fight in him. I mean, that guy's got mental toughness. Angelo's right here. Seals, you really comparing? Yeah, I'll compare Brock Purdy to Jalen Hurts. What's one thing? Once again, Joe, you're out of your mind. He's not more accomplished than Brock Purdy. He's not. That guy, he's like, what is he now, 20-4? What are you talking about? Been to a Super Bowl, 2 conference title games? The fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Hurts has been so inconsistent the last 18 games, it's insane. Purdy played in the preseason. No, I'm going to tell you what the difference is between the two. Hey, Bob, I'm going to talk to you, okay? Get this. Dick Train thinks that Purdy is a system quarterback. So fucking what, dude, if it wins you a Super Bowl? I'll tell you what, he does awful well in that system. Let me ask you something here. Here's the one thing, in my opinion, that separates Purdy versus Hurts. He's not afraid to throw across the middle of the football field. Hurts is. Hurts doesn't throw across the middle of the field. Not the way Purdy does. And I think that's got a lot to do with Shanahan. Shanahan, no matter who the quarterback is, he throws across the middle of the field. Tighter windows, higher risk of turnover. But he's got guys, according to Dick Train, that has system quarterbacks that throw in the middle of the field. They throw across the middle of the field in San Francisco. The Eagles do not. They don't throw to the middle of the field. Hey, Bob, would you agree with that? The difference between Brock Purdy is Purdy has no fear going across the middle. Hurts does. And again, that has a lot to do with Shanahan. that has a lot to do with how Kyle schemes up his quarterbacks. So to Dick Train's comment, system quarterback, well, one thing that system quarterback does do, they throw across the middle. Hurts does not throw across the middle of the field. Okay? Every game you watch, they all go across the middle. Hurts rarely goes across the middle. Bob, am I right? Most of these guys in here are going to cry. There you go, Jack. Hurts and the Eagles do not want to threaten the middle of the field. It's been that way for 4 years. It was that way Friday night. It was that way Friday night. They don't throw across the middle of the field. I think Jalen rolling to the right a lot had a lot to do with that as well. Absolutely, because he goes to a comfort zone by rolling right. Absolutely. Agreed, but this year Kellen will and has implemented shit across the middle. Matt, I believe that. That's why they're running motion. That's why they're running more motion. Yes, agreed. Okay, get this. Seals, come on, those wide receivers were wide open. Well, that's called scheming up good offenses. I don't know what's going on with the Jets defense. They did that same shit in the first half to Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl. They were doing the same stuff. They were wide open. Okay, they were wide open. Mahomes running the RPO won that Super Bowl. He was, actually, if you think about it, Patrick Mahomes has never played great in any Super Bowl he's won. Absolutely not. There lies the difference. The Eagles, I mean, if there's 30 passes in a game for the Eagles, they'll probably throw across the middle 6 times. Whereas San Francisco will split that up and throw across the middle more than half the time. You know why? Because there's more confusion in crossing routes. Kyle Shanahan believes in crossing routes. So does Andy Reid. Think about this. San Francisco will be exposed. Well, it won't be by you guys because they kick the shit out of you. One thing is for sure. San Francisco is not going to be exposed because San Francisco has a system, and according to Dick Train, has a quarterback that runs that system to a T. They didn't even need the best player on the field playing in that game last night. They did not. They didn't need the best player. How do you think the Eagles would perform if they took A.J. Brown off the field? We saw that in the playoff game. They were atrocious. I mean, what would happen if you took A.J. Brown, say you took Barkley off the field for that Packer game? Hey, let me ask you this. You guys think you would have won that football game last Friday if you didn't have Barkley? And you had Kenny Gainwell? Do you think he would have won that game? I say no. I say no. Here's where I'm at right now. Week 1 proved nothing for anybody, including the Niners. People are going to look way different. Way different. And I agree with many of you. When we get to the bye, we'll know more. Hey, do you guys get, when people start breaking down baseball teams after the first 3 series of the season in April, we all laugh at that, right? Because you really don't know after, 20, 25 games, what you're looking at with a baseball team. And then most of the time, teams kind of get a true sense of where you are by the All-Star break. Well, same shit in football here. That's the same stuff in football. So Jason says, we all know when he rolls right, it's a dead play almost all the time. They got to get that out of there, man. Because get this, Jason. If you and I can see that, Jason, those defensive coordinators have already game planned that. Raheem Morris is already game planning that. But Moore is going to scheme it up better for sure. Huge improvement from 23. I thought I saw the same football player except for the blitzes. I thought he was better against the blitzes. He was. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Week 1 proves nothing. Simmer down. Fans act like they won the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that either, Flexen. It's not what I'm saying. I just said it. I just said that to you. 49ers, Jets, all these teams, Ravens. Week 1, most of the teams and most of all the really top flight quarterbacks all played like shit, including your guy. What I'm talking to you about is where you need to go. Hey, being 1-0 or 0-1, I'd rather be 1-0. No question about it. No question about it. And like I was saying yesterday, you had a C- effort in 1. Look at the ton of improvement you have. Anybody who says that was a B effort means that you don't have a lot of room for. You got 1 level of improvement, you're not going to win a Super Bowl that way. Last year, Kansas City had tons of room for improvement. They were playing C- football also in the first 9 games. First 9 games, they were getting beat by teams like the Raiders. What happened? By the end of the year, they were playing great football. They looked like a 14-win team. When they got the AFC title game, they looked better than the Ravens. There you go, JM. Hey, JM, will you stop fucking coming up with excuses? Both teams fucking played on the field. My God, coaching, field. What's next? The sniffles? You come up with every fucking excuse there is in football. Go play and win. That's what they did. Holy shit. Whatever. Okay? Whatever. Anybody who thinks that Jalen looked good in that game Friday is wearing Eagle glasses. Anybody who thinks Joe Burrow looked good is absolutely insane. Anybody who thinks Jared Goff was sensational. He was good in moments. I could go down the list of quarterbacks. I thought Tua played really well, especially in the second half of that game against the Jags. I thought he played really well. I thought Derek Carr played well. Caleb Williams stunk. Sam Darnold played well. Believe it or not. I thought Sam Darnold played well. Daniel Jones was brutal. Aaron Rodgers that's not good enough. Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess. Okay, I guess. Get this. Look at this guy. According to PFF, Jalen Carter was one of the worst-ranked defensive linemen in the league for week 1. One of the worst. 30 rating. They had him as one of the worst defensive tackles in the NFL over the weekend for week 1. What do you say to that, Lord? You were physical. Get this. Jalen Carter and our defense is physical. They gave up 163 yards in rushing. And he says they're physical. Be objective? I am. Week 1, rather be 1-0 than 0-1, but you don't really know anything. We won't know anything. Hey, and by the way, this thing here with Tyreek Hill, these guys saying he lied, I don't fucking care about whether or not Calais Campbell showed up after, Frank. At the end of the day, police officers should not be acting like that, running security and traffic outside of a football stadium. What do you do when they're not Tyreek Hill? Do you act like that too? Do you throw people to the ground like that? Is that how you do it? We should open his window. Police officers, I was told, and I thought were there to de-escalate, not throw fuel on the fire. That was an ego arrest. I don't care about Tyreek Hill. I care more how those cops act towards citizens in South Dade. Got to be better than that. When you're a cop, you got to be above the law and act it. Got to take things away and calm things down, not escalate them. Okay? Not cool. Not cool. And by the way, they're getting hammered for it, and they should. You don't throw people around like that. He was speeding. Okay. I tell you what, I've been pulled over for speeding before, and I've never been put face down, and I put my window up a few times. You can't act like that. You're a police officer that needs to control him. Those cops shouldn't be on the road like that with that attitude. Why so angry? Why so angry? Why are you angry? If a guy's speeding, really? Hey, I could see if you're beating a child or you've killed animals or like you're wanted for murder or you've robbed a bank. I get it. Speeding? That makes you that angry? Give me a break, guy. Control yourself. Control yourself. Hit the like button. So let's get into what Nick Sirianni had to say. Okay? I had a press conference. And hey, I know. I completely disrespect this right here. I'm with you, Cosmo. Jalen Carter did nothing that was egregious in the injury of Jordan Love. They're out of their mind. They're just upset that their guy got hurt and could hurt their opportunity at being a playoff team or contending for a Super Bowl. That's all they are, is mad. So you know what you do, Cosmo? Do me a favor. As an Eagle fan, do me a favor, okay? Let him spout off like a child, okay? Let him spout off like a child because they'll run out of gas and then they'll realize how stupid their take is, okay? And no question. Let's see here. I'm not going to play politics in this here, and I'm not going to play race baiting. That's exactly what situations like that. And I'm here to talk some football. The Tyreek Hill is going to pit black versus white. I'm talking right versus wrong. I get that he was speeding. I get you give him a ticket. I get he disobeyed a directive. Still, you don't feel something like that. Well, it could have escalated and got out of hand. Because if it wasn't Tyreek Hill, my opinion, those South Florida cops could have shot that guy. It gave him a right to shoot him over speeding. That's my problem. Okay? My concerns are with the South Florida citizens, people I grew up with. No, and I love the cops, the Dade County. I've done tons of shit with them. I'm friends with the chief of police. Mayor Suarez has been on this program. Mayor Suarez, mayor of Miami, has been on our program. I love the guy. Can't act like that. All right. So, we're looking for improvement heading into Game 2 versus Atlanta. See what James says. They had you beat it. They caught him. Hey, James, your boy can't run as much in Washington. You can't have 16 rushing attempts. That's not, like Dan Quinn says, the model they're looking for. Okay? That's not the model they're looking for in Washington if they're going to win games. He's got to be looking more down the field, Jaden Daniels. He can't be looking. And by the way, I think it was his first start. I get it. I think he's going to get better too. So I understand it a little bit. Okay, but he has got to look more down the field if they're going to have a chance to win this year. This Atlanta game is going to be interesting because Atlanta comes off of a game against the Steelers. Steelers go into Atlanta, and I think their defense absolutely took them apart. Do I think Justin Fields did anything special in that football game versus that defense. I think the defense is pretty good. By the way, that Matthew Judon showed up. He was a factor in that game. But there's some holes in that Atlanta defense. That there's going to be an opportunity to run the football, in my opinion, against Atlanta. Hey, Sills, with the NFC being weaker than the AFC, I'm assuming, does Vic have any advantage to get the defense up to par? Are you encouraged? I am encouraged. Or do the Eagles have to score 30? Ace, I'm more encouraged on what I saw. And one more time. One more time here. That's not the guy. Here's the one I wanted. You probably will. I'm more encouraged because I thought they were further along than what I thought. Or they played better against Green Bay than I thought they would. I thought there'd be a ton of yards, which there were. There was 414 yards total offense and 163 on the ground. It's not like there wasn't. I mean, he surrendered 29 points and 414 yards and 163 yards. Did I think that would be around there? Yeah, I did. And by the way, are you going to get that same performance from Zach Bond versus Atlanta? I don't know that. This guy has no history of consistency because he's not really played internal. You really don't know. Okay? David asked me about Mitchell's performance. I thought he was really good. David, he got beat a bunch of times, but I thought he beat people more times. And for his first NFL football game, David, I thought he was really good. I gave him a lot of kudos. He's a player. At least after week 1, he looks pretty good. And quite frankly, Teron Arnold versus Quinyon Mitchell, if I'm being objective, who won week 1? Stafford's a better passer than Love. But I'll take Mitchell's performance over Teron Arnold. I'll take Mitchell over Arnold. Not by a lot. I thought they both showed moments. I thought Arnold was really good in the overtime. But in the first, I thought he got beat. Now, again, Rams have way better receivers than what Green Bay does. And Puka Nacua wasn't out there. Kupp's a great receiver. I don't know about a receiving core, and the quarterback's really good. Still, I mean, if you said push, no, I think Quinyon was better. I think Q, and by the way, I'm going to keep score this year. I think Q got that one, and I think he's 1-0 versus Teron Arnold. So I would go Quinyon Mitchell in week 1 over Teron Arnold. Okay? Yeah, we'll see. As it continues. Seals, what's your solution for the cream putt Devin White? Cut him. You don't need that cancer in your football team. Cut him. He's not an asset on your team. What does Devin White bring to your football team? What does he bring to your team except drama? Cut him. Okay? You don't need that. Especially when you have a football team that fought on Friday night. They fought with mental toughness on Friday. When you watch the film, there's clearly one thing you come away with. They made a ton of mistakes. They gave a ton of yards up, but they fought. They fought more. And get this. Here's one thing that's different than 23. They showed mental toughness against the Packers, where last year in the second half of the season, they showed no mental toughness. So it improved. That's an improvement. That's an improvement mentally. Okay? That's an improvement. Good for them. That's right. Des the Jew? That's right. Love this guy. That's right. Didn't quit. They did not quit. Get this guy. Best corners in the game, definitely an upgrade from last year. You don't have the best corners in the league. Fucking high. Best corners in the league. Where did you come up with that? Where did you come up with that you had the best corners in the league? That receiver from the Packers owned your secondary. Had 140 some odd yards. Best corners in the league. Big Sills, I'm slightly behind. I only hinted about my career a few times here. I am a retired police officer. That cop sounds like an asshole, right? The ticket and let the man. Hey, MSIP, thank you for having one of the hardest jobs in the world and having that stress that you take home and not having and being a family member, because it's the most stressful job. And thank you for protecting the environment that you're placed in, because without police officers, we have chaos in this country. Thank you. I'm not talking about Tyreek Hill. I'm talking about how police officers, they escalated the situation instead of de-escalating. You got a tough enough job as it is. You mean social worker, marriage counselor, all of this stuff. And then you got to be a calming force. You can't escalate shit like that. You just can't. And I admire you for doing that. I mean, believe me, those cops are under massive stress right now. I appreciate you guys more than you know. The police, there's more police departments that follow me on Twitter than you would imagine. Hey, SIP, there's like everywhere from New York police officers, Philly cops do, LA cops, South Florida cops for sure. They all follow us because we have great respect for police. That was not a good high water mark for policing. Okay? It just was not. Let's see here. Seals, you think the Hurts and Cam connection is going to improve? Yes. More reps? I do think that. Tyreek should have just kept the window down. Okay. You pull a guy out of his car, throw him down to the ground and cuff him like that, then you cuff his boy. Why'd you cuff Calais Campbell? Came to see if his friend needed anything. What was that thing? And by the way, did you hear what the cop said when one of the cops said, that's Tyreek Hill? The cop went like this. Oh, shit. And once he realized it was Tyreek Hill, they knew they were all in trouble. Oh, shit. Let's see what Prince has to say. Sills, the only thing I learned from week 1 is that Kyle Shanahan is him. He makes life easier for Purdy, and he can plug in anyone into that scheme. You know what, though, Prince? Would you not agree this about Shanahan? Lynch finds the people to plug in, though, for the coach. Would you not agree that he finds? I think anybody can play in San Francisco, but they don't want anybody. So would you not agree that, okay, you can sit here and say, well, yeah, he makes life easier and getting, but one thing is for sure, they find the right players. I'm trying to figure this out. Prince, think of this. So you had a 7th round quarterback. You had an undrafted free agent. You had a 2nd rounder in Debo. You had what round did Ayuk go? Does anyone know what round Ayuk went? And they beat you with undrafted guys and 7th rounders. You had 2 7th rounders. You had a 7th round quarterback. You had an undrafted running back. Brandon Ayuk is a second rounder. I didn't remember that he was a second. I know Debo was a 2. Okay, I didn't remember Ayuk. But think about the stars in that game last night. 25th pick. Thank you, Senor. I didn't remember that. But the 2 stars in the game were an undrafted undrafted running back who had 147 yards and a quarterback who went in the 7th round. Holy shit. You talk about finding talent. I mean, that's talent evaluation at its finest. Look at that defense, too. Look at the defense that John Lynch has put together. Hey, Jeremiah, I had forgotten Ayuk was a first rounder. Prince says it's the scheme. You know why, Prince? I can't dispute Prince. Prince, you know why I can't dispute him on this take? Does anybody know why I can't dispute Prince on this take? Why can't I dispute him on this? Do you know why? Great conversation today, guys. We haven't even gotten to the topics yet. I haven't even gotten to my takeaways with Nick's conference this morning. Top 10 teams, top 10 quarterbacks. Why can't I dispute Prince's take here? Sills, it's the scheme. What is Prince's go-to? It's a pretty smart take, actually. Shockingly from him. He can always go like this. Well, Garoppolo did the same shit. Garoppolo did the same shit he's doing. Garoppolo loved going middle too. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo did this, did he not? This is why I can't dispute what Prince is saying here. Jimmy G did this. The last 2 quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has had have looked the same. Is he right? He is right. But you have to have a skill set to do that. Okay, you have to have a skill set. Got to be accurate. You don't have to have the strongest arm on the planet. You don't have to. Get this. You know why it's hard for Philadelphia folks to sit there and look at the comparisons with Purdy and Hurts? It's because it's 2 different styles of car. Is Jalen a better athlete? By far. Is Purdy a better system quarterback than Hurts? By far. Is he late on throws? Never. Does he throw to the wrong people? No. Why does Brock Purdy have a couple more turnovers in the passing game than Jalen does? That's not as of late because Hurts has been throwing more. You know why? He throws across the middle of the field. Hurts doesn't. Brock Purdy uses the entire field. Jalen doesn't. Jalen is here. Get this. At least 85% of the time, they're all plays to the numbers and rolling right. This is how defensive coordinators are looking at this, and this is how Raheem Morris is going to game plan him for Monday night. Rolling right to the numbers, 15% across the middle. That's why Barkley was so big in that game against the Packers. He was almost undefensible because he ran and he threw to Saquon Barkley. Barkley catching that pass down the sideline. Let me tell you how important that play is for the next week. You put that film on and you're watching Saquon Barkley play. You know what you're saying? Okay, he leaks out of the backfield. And look at what the 2 wide receivers are doing. And here's Kellen Moore helping the offense more than Jalen Hurts helps the offense. He used the 2 receivers as decoys to get him open. And it was a really good throw down the sideline. Not dismissing that. And it was. But the 2 receivers made that play happen. They were 2 decoys. That's smart and skillful designing of a route in a play by Kellen Moore. Now, will this continue? Yes. The encouraging thing also about Hurts was you go back and you put the numbers to the tape and you watch him versus the blitz. Hey, get this. I thought he played terrible in the game. I thought he was A+ against the blitz in that game against Green Bay. That's a positive. He comes out of that game with two most important things: moving the sticks ahead in his development versus the blitz, and they won. Okay? And they won. That was important. They won. Jonathan goes, Jalen completed passes to 8 different receivers. He didn't spread the ball around and use the middle of the field. No, he didn't. Most of those plays were at the outside numbers. And they were passes, short, intermediate passes. They weren't across the middle. How long? Let's see what here. Akbar. How long are we going to keep this shit up about Jalen getting better after 4 years? How many more years did we say Derek Carr is going to get better? This is who he is. I don't know about that. Lousy footwork. He did have lousy footwork, throwing across your body, poor decision-making. I'm with you, Akbar. But Akbar, Brady got better all the way up until his 25th year. He even said it. He was continuing to develop himself. So if you're saying that this is who he is, I think what you see with Hurts, he just needs to define and help the turnover issue and make smarter plays. And he can't be, you know why why do you guys think that Jalen Hurts is late on throws? Confidence. It's confidence. You're not sure. There's only two, get this, there's only 2 things that cause you to be late on throws: confidence or you don't have the talent. Which is it? And what comes with confidence? More reps. Throwing the ball more. Okay? That's right, JM. It's not automatic. JM. Shockingly, a great take from him. Okay? Wait a minute. Shockingly, another great take. Yes. Steve. But Steve, let me use you. How does that get better? Indecisiveness. Yeah, yes. Jesus criminy. This guy ate his Fruit Loops today. JM. You can literally watch him thinking. Jesus, this guy ate his Fruit Loops today. Yes. What will end that indecisiveness? Playing more in the current system. No, Steve, I don't think it's practice more. Because why? Then you'll have that dumbass ESP, Elliot Spitzer Short, telling you how great he is in practice. I think it's more about game reps. The more he plays. Now, look, do I expect Jalen Hurts to be better in Atlanta? Yeah. I do. Do I expect Kellen Moore to be smarter versus Atlanta? Yes. I want to get Goddard going. I'll tell you something, and Zander's probably going to kill me on this, but I'm going to tell you something that I never thought that I would see at A.J. Brown. I'll tell you what, man, he was willing to give himself up in that game against Green Bay to be decoyed out so others could be open. He was open to that process. Now, he got his numbers. He didn't have am I right when I say this, guys? He didn't have a high volume of catches, but he had high volume in yards, right? I think he's cool with that. I think he's cool with that. But he was open to that. He was open to that. So I loved it. We might get Mike Golick on at 5:30. So let's see if we can do that. So we might get Mike Golick on at 5:30. He had 10 targets. David, did he have 5 catches? I thought it was somewhere around 5 catches. So, guys, you're 1-0. Let's take that away here. Let's talk about the first quarter poll of the season, which is traditionally like the first 4 games. That's the first part of it. And you know what? And I did a poor job here of explaining how I look at the season. I look at the first quarter poll. There's 4 quarter polls in a season. It used to be that number exactly because there were 16 games. Now they've added the 17th game. So I'm still using that metric. But it's 4.5, whatever you want to do, okay? That's how I look at a season. Where are you in the first quarter poll? My assessment of the Packer game was this. You guys played C- football with a ton more room of improvement. That's not a rip. Actually, that's a positive. Some of you go, we played A football. You better hope that's not A football. You better pray to God that's not B+ football, because you won't win shit. If that's the best you can do, and that's a little below the best they can do, you ain't winning dick. You better hope it's more where I'm saying. That's a C- effort. And they won. Okay? You better hope there's a shitload more of better football to come. Because last year, you guys were right. Their efforts were B+. They had no room for improvement. That's who they were. They were a B+ team last year. Pretty right. 11 wins. Playoff team. They were a B+ team. You got to be an A team to win a super. You got to get into the Super Bowl, you have to be an A team. That's not an A. Hey, how many teams played A effort in week 1? None. Oh, wait. Kansas City, of course. Kansas City. Maybe the Cowboys. Maybe the Cowboys. Who else? New Orleans. Then again, New Orleans hasn't shown any propensity to be consistent. That's why you look at the first quarter poll. Jalen Hurts did not suck, JoJo. There were things in that football game that sucked. He did. Here, that's a better assessment of Hurts. Hurts didn't suck. He did things in the game that sucked. Yeah. That's how I look at him. Pro Football Focus said he was the worst quarterback in week 1. That's not how I saw that. Pro Football Focus, because you know why? They look at numbers and they look at metrics. They don't really look on how the guile of the guy, if he's not out there fighting, and if he's not out there where, hey, get this, they had mental toughness in that football game. They played with mental toughness. He sucks, Sills. I'm not there with that. And again, I'm not defending it. That's not how I look at him. Lamar goes, Sills. New Orleans played the Panthers. That's not a New Orleans. See, every time somebody says something like this, that's not a New Orleans Saints fault that the Panthers suck. What you don't want to do in week 1 is play down to your competition. That's the one thing you're looking for your team. The Panthers suck. They put 47 on them. Perfect. That's exactly what you should do. The Panthers suck. You put almost a 50 burger on them. Well, you lived up to what you are. The Saints lived up to their ability. Well, the Panthers aren't good. That's not the Saints' fault. The worst thing that the Saints could have did was win 28-26 because you played down to your competition. As a matter of fact, look, here, holy shit. I don't know what you guys have done today. You guys have been on your Wheaties or on your Fruit Loops or something. A lot of you guys that usually have no takes. I agree with Lord Vaughn. I think the Saints are going to win that game. 49ers look great. By the way, some would go, well, still, the Jets, you know what I mean? It wasn't the 49er thing. They beat the piss out of them last night. Next guy up, they stomped them. Hey, what's Sauce Gardner and them guys doing out of the ball game, too? I mean, I think these guys like to be New York superstars and celebrities in New York. You got to fucking go out and play, guy. You got train wrecked on Monday Night Football. All that hype and all that bullshit about winning the East, you ain't beating Buffalo. You better get out there and win that game this coming weekend. Hey, nothing like the NFL setting the Jets up. Take a look at the Jets schedule the next couple. Hey, somebody do me a favor. Put the next 3 Jets games up or the next 4 Jet games up, and I'll show you the quarterbacks that they're playing. I don't know what the NFL and Park Avenue is doing, but they really want the New York Jets to be a storyline this year because they've lined them up versus some of the worst teams on the planet and some of the worst quarterbacks. Now, it gets tougher, but I think they play the New England Patriots in the next 7 weeks twice. Take a look at who they play. Okay? Take a look at what they are and who they play over the next month and a half. I mean, they play like the guy in Tennessee, the Titans, the Patriots. I mean, the Broncos. They play Bo Nix. So after that game, they play like Will Levis or Levis. They play Jacoby Brissett. Who else? Bo Nix. And then they play Sam Darnold. Wow. Hey, nothing like Park Avenue. You want the Jets to be a storyline all year. You don't think that's by design? I totally think that's by design. Patriots and Broncos and Titans over the next 3 weeks. The Jets could be 3-1. And you look back and go, hey, the Jets are, what a story. And you're like, yeah, well, all right. Sure, okay. Yeah, well, one thing was for sure about Aaron Rodgers last night. He has no wheels. He has no mobility. He can throw the football, but he has no mobility whatsoever. He's like a statue back there now. That is not Aaron Rodgers of 3 years ago. Now, is that by design? Is that week 1? Probably all that. Is that San Francisco's defense? Probably. A little bit of that too. Okay. Probably a little bit of that. But back again to the Eagles here. Pro Football Focus says that Hurts is the worst quarterback in week 1. Did I see that? No. I saw a quarterback that nutted up, that even with all the shitty plays and missed throws, he won a ball game. Jets lose games like that. Bad teams lose games like that. Not good teams. Good teams win shitty performances. 414 yards in total offense surrendered. You were really outrushed by them. I mean, you were. San Francisco was physical last night. San Francisco is more physical of a football team than you. They run the ball, man. And boy, I'll tell you, they run the ball down your throat. They do. They run the ball down your throat. Seals, who played better, Hurts or Love? Jalen. Jalen Hurts did. Absolutely. I thought Jordan Love was all over the place. Actually, I thought it was a poor game plan on defense by Jeff Hafley and also by Matt LaFleur in that game. I was disappointed in their coaching, to say the least. And honestly, I was higher on Arnold in the draft than I was Mitchell, but Mitchell destroyed him this week. If you're keeping count, I am. It wasn't destroyed. Definitely a Mitchell week. Mitchell played great. He did. And he did win week 1. I agree with you. I thought I thought Teron Arnold was better in the overtime against the Rams. I thought he was better in the overtime than his first 3 quarters or 4 quarters that he played against the Rams. And they came back and they were down late. And I thought he played better as the game went on. Okay, but I would definitely say that Quinyon Mitchell wins week 1 for sure. Okay, I would. I don't even believe you said that you would take you give Mitchell a push over Arnold. It wasn't even close in penalties Arnold had. Yeah, well, week 1, guy. Week 1. Let's take a look at the rest of the year. Remember what happened to Jalen Carter? Look at Steve, forgetting history of even a year ago. Your boy Jalen Carter had a slam dunk. Get this, guys. Let me show you how Steve is ahead of the field already. Last year, Jalen Carter had a lead for Rookie of the Year, and nobody was close, and it was miles from Will Anderson. By the end of the year, the guy in Los Angeles played better. The defensive tackle had 9 sacks. And Will Anderson and even the kid in Seattle played better, according to some. That's how bad Jalen Carter played towards the end of the year. And by the way, out of the gate, he was one of the worst rated defensive tackles interior in the league in week 1. So, Steve, hang in there. Hang in there. Katsu, as of now, the Eagles stand no chance against that. That's not true. That's not true. You can't look at September 10th and sit here and go, well, the Eagles can't beat that team. That's not how you look at that. That's not how you look. I don't look at it like that. Now, there's no way, in my opinion, week 1, you would have beat that Niner team with that defense. Okay, the system that they have in San Francisco is superior to when they have with Nathaniel Hackett in New York with Aaron Rodgers. You got a 41-year-old quarterback and Nathaniel Hackett versus Kyle Shanahan and a runner-up to the MVP and Brock Purdy. I mean, plus you have all those weapons. And now you've added another one in this running back that was an undrafted free agent. And wait till they get Ricky Pearsall back because they totally love the guy during the exhibition season. And when they get him back, that'll be another component added to the offense. On September 10th, the Niners are better? Yeah. But October 10th? I don't know. We'll see. That's how this thing works. These things go up and down like your season did a year ago. 10-1, 1-7. Not to that extreme, but that's how an NFL season is. Niners had a 3-game losing streak. Hey, Niner all day, if you're in here, did the Niners have a 3-game losing streak during the season when they lost Debo and Trent, or was it a 2-game losing streak? Okay. They fixed it. Kyle Shanahan had answers. They turned the machine around. Right? They turned the machine around. Niner all day. Let me give you my assessment of the Niners and what I saw last night. Dominant at the point of attack, physical on both sides of the ball. You have currently right now the best tandem of defensive line and offensive line in pro football. The combinations of both, you have the best. And that's what separates you. Detroit is probably second, but you're right there. You and Detroit in the NFC. I don't even think Kansas City has that. Okay, I don't think Kansas City has that. You know, I'm talking about O-line, D-line. There's not a chance anybody in here says that the Eagles have a good front seven when you give up 163 on the ground. So I'd pipe down on that one. You're not in this conversation. You are not in this conversation when we're talking about the two best fronts, the combinations. What teams in the NFL right now have the best combination D-line and O-line? Detroit, 49ers. Kansas City has a pretty good group. I don't know, man. Those might be just the 3 teams. I'm not saying anything that the Dolphins have right now. I'm not. Dolphins have no, in my opinion. The Steelers, Houston, Steelers and Houston. Yeah. 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 They're in there. They're in there. Cowboys, no. I want to see it against the Saints. I want to see it against the Saints. Let me see what they do against the Saints. I'm still not sold they could stop the run. Cleveland didn't have Chubb. I want to see them stop Alvin Kamara. I want to see them stop Alvin Kamara. See here. 49ers are scary. They dominated the Jets. They beat them up, and they beat up their secondary. They completely beat up their secondary. Did you see what Kyle Shanahan said after the game, too? I don't know, Niner all day, if you saw that. But it was very clear. He was asked the question, how serious were you in trading Brandon Ayuk? He goes, very. We were very close to trading away Brandon Ayuk. Okay. Sills, I was disappointed with the field conditions in Brazil, both teams slipping. Cosmo, it's been hammered out. There's no question that the NFL, every time they put these neutral games or these, isn't it funny? Super Bowl neutral site for the Birds and then neutral site in Brazil. What'd they do? Take the field from the Super Bowl in 22 or 23 and transform it over to Brazil. Looked like the same field. Eagles quarterback sucks, dude. No, not there. Not there. Doesn't suck. Got a long way to go. Got a lot of growing. Stop the run. You beat the Niners. Purdy throws in wide open areas. Look at what Swansky says. No tight windows. And he went quarterback on that team. Well, you have to have the talent to do that. You have to have a quarterback that doesn't have late throws. What's your excuse why Hurts was late on 10 throws? What's Jalen Hurts' excuse? Are you trying to tell me that the Green Bay Packers were playing some sort of defensive secondary where one guy had 90 yards catching, the other guy had 120 yards almost catching? Are you trying to tell me you didn't have open windows and Jalen didn't have missed throws? The problem with Swansky is Swansky says he thinks Green Bay played second. that Green Bay played good in the secondary. No, Hurts missed throws. Hurts missed throws in that game. Purdy doesn't miss throws. Anybody can quarterback. That's not true. That's not true. Well, shit, dude. You're supposed to have the third best offensive line in football. You got Barkley. He's still late on throws. They put an undrafted free agent back there, and he goes for 147. And Brock Purdy doesn't miss throws. What's your excuse? He didn't miss any. Let's see here. I need a Sills prediction for the debate tonight. Ugh. Chaos. How about this one? Sig, chaos. Chaos. I might just tune it on just to watch to see what the hell happens. It doesn't matter what happens in that thing tonight. Chaos. Make football. Hell, look at this. This is a great. Hey, can I get a t-shirt made like that? Can I please get a t-shirt? Make football great again. I love it. All right. Hey, Zander Krause is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Gary Cobb is going to join us at 4:30. And potentially Mike Golick is going to join us at 5:30. Hit the like button. By the way, forgot to say it, and I'll say it again to you guys. Love the fact that we're powered by our friends at BetUS. Great opportunity for you guys during this football season. New betting house that we have here with our relationship at JAKIB, and we're proud to have it. Please make sure you do your damnedest to go over and at least check it out. You have to get there. This is the home of Michael Vick. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K. As I said, it is the home of Michael Vick. Do me a favor and go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. It is the fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sills sent you.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Guys, a little behind. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much. You were awesome yesterday. Before I get Zander Krause on, you guys want to hear the Big Sills? Top 10 NFL teams heading into week 2. Concluding week 1 from last night. And then the top 10 quarterbacks. Do we do it before or after? Okay? Thank you, Cosmo. Appreciate it. Hit that like button. Hey, Sills, can we have a moment of silence for 9/11 victims? Says Kyle. Tomorrow. Of course. A couple of my friends passed away at Cantor Fitzgerald, who worked in the towers. Went to high school with one of them. Yeah, of course. There's a fireman that was a friend of mine. That was from Portchester. That went and passed away in ladder 11. Yeah. I flew back across in September that year. No, I think it was 2001. I think I came back from my grandma's funeral, and seeing those towers not there any longer is crazy. I grew up with those towers in Long Island Sound. Me and my grandpa used to drop our lobster pots with the towers there in Long Island. We'd be out there 5 o'clock in the morning. Tower 2, we would put a couple strings of lobster pots. Tower 1, we would use them. That was our landmark that we would have there in Long Island. So not seeing those towers there, I grew up with them things. And we would go out in a boat and see them all the time. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. We appreciate you guys very much. The Big Sills hierarchy in top 10 NFL teams. Are you ready? After week 1, here is the Big Sills top 10. Coming in at number 10, 304. Are you here? The team with the star on their hat, the Dallas Cowboys, come in at number 10. At number 9, the team from South Florida, the Miami Dolphins, come in at number 9. Number 8, the Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, come in at number 8. Now, this is based off of week 1. Number 7, the team from the city of brotherly love, the Philadelphia Eagles. At number 6, the Houston Texans come in at number 6. Number 5, the team led by Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens come in at number 4. Number 3, the Detroit Lions come in at number 3. Number 2, the San Francisco 49ers come in at number 2. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning 2-time champions, come in at number 1. So, Chiefs 1, Niners 2, Detroit 3, Baltimore 4, Buffalo 5, Houston 6, Philadelphia 7. It's higher than I wanted to put them, believe me. 8 is the Bucks. 9, the Miami Dolphins. 10, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the top 10 quarterbacks. After week 1, here is my top 10. At number 10, the man who is now the highest paid quarterback in pro football. He is Dak Prescott. Number 9, the man who arguably is maybe the most underappreciated quarterback in pro football, Jared Goff. Number 8, man who threw for 338 yards, comeback win against the Jags, Tua Tagovailoa. Number 7, he gutted it up, improved in his blitzes, Jalen Hurts. Number 6, Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Baker Mayfield. Number 4, CJ Stroud. Number 3, from the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Number 2, from the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy. And number 1, you have the number 1 team and the number 1 player, the number 1 coach, and the number 1 coordinator, Patrick Mahomes. He's confident and ready. Really? He was the worst rated passer after week 1. What do you say to that? Come on, dog. Let's not go crazy here. Your boy stunk except for the fact that he did do a good job against the blitz. Come on now. 58.8. How could you be under 60% in completion percentage with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert? How do you not have that at above 7? You want to hear a number? You want to hear a number? What was this? Listen to this. You know, I had to put Mayfield on here. Here's why I had to put Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had an 80% completion percentage, 146.4 quarterback rating. He was 24-30 for 289 and 4 touchdowns and a quarterback rating of 94.6. That was last year. Threw for 4,100 yards last year and 28 touchdowns in 23. I don't know about you, but Baker Mayfield's found a home in Tampa. This guy's found a home in Tampa. This guy's picking up where he left off last year in the second half of the season. I mean, I did a nice job, man. Didn't play a real team. All right, guy. How you doing? Hit the like button. You guys are killing it, man. We'll talk about Fredo Sirianni here in a minute. Okay? I got to get these grades out for my boy here. By the way, they're doing a killer job. So you know what I like about John McMullen? Boy, John and Zander, man, in that show in the morning. Jalen's going to get better. You know, he's just, yeah. Me, I give you the facts and nothing but the facts. See these glasses? There's nothing green on them. They're clear. You know what that means? Clear vision. Okay? No eagle colors here. Clear vision. Truth, justice, in the Big Sills way. All right. Further ado, one of the hottest shows going. And he is the co-host with the legendary John McMullen. Can't wait to do our pre and post. That'll be on Monday. Holy shit. Another night of not drinking. I'll tell you what, man. I think without a doubt, JAKIB Sports is going to wean me off of Coronas. we say that. Here is my guy, Big Z. Zander Strauss.
Sills, it's Monday night. What do you need Coronas on a Monday night for? We might be saving you from alcoholism, Sills.
Hey, man, as far as I'm concerned, it's happy hour every Friday, every day.
Friday, maybe. Friday, maybe. Not Monday, though. Come on, Big Sills.
All right, let me throw this at you right out of the gate here, my friend. So Pro Football Focused, they had Jalen Hurts as the worst rated quarterback after week 1, 29.8 overall. Passing, 33-3. Rushing, 41-2. The Bible of football, Pro Football Focus says your boy after week 1 stunk the worst. Your thoughts, Zander?
It's a little overblown. I mean, it's because of the turnovers that it's so low. But look, I can think of 5 quarterbacks off the top of my head who played a lot worse than Jalen Hurts in week 1. Deshaun Watson sucked. You know, there's plenty of Daniel Jones sucked. There's plenty of dudes out there who didn't play well. But, you know, some people make a lot of the PFF. I do think fans should be aware that for us to go as far as we want to go, Jalen's got to be better. And I don't think that's a bad thing or a hater thing to say about where we are right now. It's one game. I'm not saying that it's all over. But if we want to have Super Bowl aspirations, if you want to win in the biggest spots, if you want to, you know, be what we want to be, you can't turn the ball over like that. You can't make dumb decisions. You can't throw the ball back across your body when you got all pro corners out on the field like Jair Alexander. I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think that's a big reason for the grade. I went back and watched the all 22. You know, he had the 2 picks, but he really had 4 or 5 throws that could have been picked. And some of those were even worse than the ones that did get picked. But look, like I said, I got a lot of faith in this football team right now. It's game 1. I think they're going to snap back in, and it's going to be we scored 34 points with 3 turnovers. I think the sky is the limit for this football team, and I view it as a good thing. So I'm not upset at all. I don't know what's going on, by the way, with my internet. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, why don't you freshen up and come back?
It's been all day. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know, all this money I pay for the internet, I'm all hardwired up and everything, and I can't get the damn internet right. But give me a second. I'll come back for a second. Right?
All right, man. Appreciate that. So let's see, get all freshened up here a little bit here and see if we can get a better connection here. Sig saying that Zander's using a flip phone. You know who still uses a flip phone, Sig? Jerry Jones still uses a flip phone. Audio's good. You guys are right. You guys. So we'll keep plugging away there with that, and we'll work that avenue there. And like we said this exactly to you guys. Look, I look at how many people will do this. Week 1, of course, you want to get the win. You want to be 1-0 and not 0-1, obviously. But at the end of the day, the first quarter poll of the season, is the quarterback getting better? You know, it's funny. Do you know how many people went over to my Twitter and said, Sills, why were you killing the Eagles yesterday? And I said I wasn't killing them. I actually thought I was being very positive. Let's see if we can get Zander back in here. Hopefully got a better connection. Zander.
I don't think it's going to be better, but
your audio's great. Everybody could hear you here. So, Zander, get this. I had a lot of people come over to my Twitter page and go, why were you killing the Eagles yesterday? And I'm like, Hoss, if anything, you won a game playing C- football with so much room for improvement that when people say this, well, that was a B effort, you better hope that's not a B effort, because a year ago you were a B+ team, and that's not good enough. You've got to be an A team to get to the NFC title game and an A team to get to the Super Bowl. You can't play B+ or B football like you did a year. You look at this, Zander. Would we not agree a year ago the Eagles were a B team, 11 wins, second in the division, playoff team. Guys had great career years. The football team, did it have ups and downs? Well, yeah, because that's what B teams are. They have holes in their team. They had holes all over the defense, and they had some holes in the play calling and coaching. Well, you're hoping this year, because you can't be a B team and get to an NFC title game. You have got to be an A team when you get to that game.
No doubt about it. I don't know why that people get so upset with you saying that. Why would that not be true? We're talking about winning a Super Bowl here. Guys, we're not talking about making the playoffs. We're not talking about winning 9 or 10 football games. We want to be the best in the world. We want to win the Super Bowl, right? You want to parade on Broad Street? You're right. You can't turn the ball over. You got to be a better football team. Now, it's week 1. I'm not sounding the alarm, but from your perspective, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying. People are calling me, I'm sounding like Sills. I'm a hater in the chat. No, I want to be great. I want to be great. And to be great, you got to play great, and you got to clean up all that unnecessary stuff. So that's what the expectation is, and I think they're going to do it in game 2 here. Look, the reality of the new NFL, Sileo, is September is now the preseason because nobody plays. So you come out here and you have guys that are completely rusty. And like I've said on the show before, if I didn't do a show for 230 days, I'd come on here and I would be rusty. I'd be nervous. I wouldn't know exactly how to do it yet. I'd have to get back in my rhythm. That's the same for any profession, anything you do. It doesn't even have to be a profession, for any hobby, for anything you do in life, right? So when they go out there and they practice, that's not the same as having a game. So this is the first time that Jalen's been out there in 200 plus days since we lost to the Bucs. They're rusty, no doubt. So I'm starting to view September football a lot differently, and I think everybody else should. But that doesn't mean you're wrong, by the way. It doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of stuff to clean up. But I think they will clean it up, and that's where I'm going with it. I think we're early. I think the 34 points with 3 turnovers shows the potential of this team. And I think there's a lot of silver linings to take from that game. And by the way, you left 1-0, so that's
most
really
importantly.
Exactly. Most importantly. So we're in a good spot going into week 2 here. And by the way, that Falcons team did not look good. So I think we're going to have a shoe in here for game 2. Now, any given Sunday in the NFL, but I do think we're a much better team than Atlanta.
They're going to be better too. And by the way, they were not bad on defense. They were bad offensively in that football game against Pittsburgh. And I'll say this to you. I said this, and I don't think the Eagles are anywhere near this yet. I mentioned the teams that have the 2 combinations of really good O-line and really good D-line. Well, Pittsburgh has that. Pittsburgh has a good front 7, and Pittsburgh has a good O-line. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to defend the run. So Pittsburgh's in that room with Detroit, San Francisco. They're in that conversation there. So you got to remember, and to your point about being rusty, game 1, well, I think that was on display last night. Aaron Rodgers hadn't played football in 2 years.
Yeah, right. No.
Okay. I mean, that's not Aaron Rodgers football. By the way, his mobility is completely gone. Will that improve against Tennessee? Probably. I don't know yet.
You don't know, man. He's older. Remember, he's an older dude. So
yeah, but how about the NFL? You see the schedule for the NFL and the Jets? They play Tennessee, Denver, Bo Nix, and then they play like Sam Darnold. Boy, did they want to set that story up.
Darnold, you talked about PFF ratings. He
played well.
He was the number 1 ranked quarterback in the NFL ahead of Patrick Mahomes in week 1. Now, that's if you care about PFF ratings. But he did have a good game. So, look, we'll see. But, you're right. Rusty last night. The Niners didn't look too rusty. I mean, they look pretty good to me. They're a good football team. I know everybody likes to – we don't have the greatest feeling about the Niners here in Philly, but that's a good football team, man. They've assembled a good team there in San Francisco, and they're going to be a problem in the NFC. So that's a team we're going to have to deal with. By the way, can I just say this without everybody getting in a stink? I like Brock Purdy, man, as a football player. I know he's got a great roster. I know he's being elevated by the coach and the players around him. I like that player, man. I like the way he approaches the game. I'm a Brock Purdy guy. I must say, I like the way he plays the game. I think he's better than people give him credit for. And if he starts clicking, if he plays his best football, that's a team that could make it to the Super Bowl. So we got to be weary of that team in the playoffs as an NFC contender, no doubt.
How about this? I said it in the first hour, and here's the difference, Zander. The difference between Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. Hurts doesn't throw across the middle.
He did throw 50%. So look.
Kyle Shanahan designs plays on a game basis for him to go across the middle.
Yeah, but still, that's an old narrative right now, and I'm going to debunk it for you right here on the show. I mean, just give me a second. I'll find the stat because I was doing the research on this earlier today. That 52.6% of Jalen Hurts' passes in week 1 were over the middle of the field. It was 10th in the NFL.
And that's why he had turnovers.
Well, you're right, because 2 of those passes were to the middle of the field. But
Correct.
I would argue that those people are hating. People are ripping me in the chat. They're just too funny about that. I knew everybody was going to go nuts when I said
when you went there, though. I knew when you went there across the middle. That's right. He struggles across the middle.
No, he did. He struggled across the middle. But look, I don't view that as much as across the middle as I did. That was just bad mechanical, bad fundamental football.
How about
throwing across your body, throwing off the back foot up into the middle of the field in triple coverage? I mean, you can clean that up, whether that's to the outside or to the middle. That's an interception.
How about the missed throws?
Yeah, the missed throws weren't great. A couple of them were not to the middle of the field, though. They were to the outside. So,
again, Purdy can't escape this one thing, Zander. He can't escape Jimmy Garoppolo because Garoppolo theoretically did the same shit that he's doing. And there's 2 things he has: 7th round pick, and Homie did it too. So Prince brought it up, and very rarely does Prince have any kind of decent takes.
I love Prince.
But he had a really good one today, and thank you for the super question.
Prince, I love you, Prince.
The real question is, what size is that collar shirt Sills is wearing? He's able to button the top button. Hey, Junior, you must be under the impression that Big Sills is not a stealth human being here. I'm rolling right now, Junior. Look at this. I got room to spare, dickhead. Come on, Prince. You had some good takes early. You came in with a donkey one right there. How you doing, buddy? All right. I want to get to some numbers, though, that are troubling because I agree with you on the Hurt stuff. See, Zander thought he's going to get me going, yeah, half the passes across the middle. Yeah, he had 2 turnovers across the middle. You don't think he struggles? How you doing? How's this one here? Dean was one of the worst rated linebackers according to the Bible. Pro Football. I don't really believe that.
I know you don't.
Guy, I don't believe that. And quite frankly, Jalen Hurts was not the worst quarterback in week 1. Daniel Jones. Hey, watch this. Zander, I'm ready for Drew Lock to be in there at New York. I'll take Drew Lock. Would you have a problem? Would you have a problem if you're Kayvon Thibodeau and someone went to you and went, hey, we're moving off of Daniel Jones and going to Drew Lock? I'd be like, no, let's do it.
I know,
that guy stinks.
Forget Kayvon Thibodeau. What about Malik Neighbors, the guy that they just drafted in the first round?
Did you hear when he tweeted out? Hey, he told his girlfriend, "I'm open."
Oh my gosh! No, they got trouble in New York, so I'm happy that we're not the Giants. No doubt about it. But
how about Dean being one of the worst rated linebackers on the weekend, and Jalen Carter also, Avante, and there's Bryce Huff as also one of the worst rated guys. Are you concerned?
Look at this. I come on the National Football Show, and all of a sudden, Big Sills has all the PFF grades ready to rip everybody with all of a sudden, Dan Sileo is now the king of pro football.
Hold on.
I mean,
these aren't my numbers. These aren't my numbers. I didn't come up with this intel. I don't sit around and do it. I mean, I just listen to what people post on my Twitter. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Dean stunk. Look, my assessment on Dean again, and I think you're probably with me on this, 50-50. I thought he had good moments and he had shitty moments. But, how about this? It's better than what I've seen him play in the last 20 games.
Yeah, well, definitely that. And if he made that splash play with the pick 6 that he dropped, we'd be talking about a different thing with Nakobe Dean. But look, he's a good downhill player. He played good against the run and stuff like that, but he struggles in coverage, and just like basically every linebacker in the league does. So, I thought Dean was encouraging. I think if he can be mediocre, and if Zach Bond can be better than we expected, then you'll have a decent linebacking core, middle of the pack linebacking core. And that's the best you're going to get, man. This team just they don't invest in the position. So to expect great play is not realistic. Now, Nakobe Dean was a 3rd rounder. You could argue that's a pretty good investment in the position. But they just don't consistently go there, right, and add to that group like they do to the other positions on the field. So I'm basically past expecting great things from our linebackers, which is why I was so pleasantly surprised with Zach Bond on Friday night.
How about this one
So
here?
you ripped when we signed Zach Bond. You remember that, I'm sure. You said who? Zach who?
I still say it. Okay, hey, he's had one game. Let's see what he does here against Atlanta, dog.
You're right.
And you see,
right.
I'm a man.
Look at Brian Pumper.
I'm just a consistency guy here, man. That's all I'm looking for, consistency. Holy crap. What was Jalen's PFF grade? Here, let me get the number exactly here for you. Here it is. 29.8. The worst quarterback rating of any quarterback in pro football this past week 1. I don't come up with the numbers. I just relay the numbers. That's all I do.
Who was the highest graded Eagles player, you know? I know.
Who is it?
Reed Blankenship.
Good old Reed. Reed, if that's the highest graded. Over AJ?
Yeah, he was. AJ and Devontae were top 5. Reed Blankenship was in there. I think Zach Bond was in there. And I forget the 5th one.
Was it an lineman?
Yeah, I think it was Lane Johnson. And maybe even Jordan. I think I forget. John gave me the top 5. It wasn't no lineman, though. You're right. Yep.
Holy crap. That was Jalen's PFF grade. Can't defend.
WCB JJ. He says, Zander, I have all the respect for you, but F the Niners. Look, I have that same mentality, dude. Look, I mean, they came in here and destroyed us last year, but you got to be able to assess your opponents and assess your enemies wisely. That is a team that we should not sleep on. That is a good football team. And if we want to get to the Super Bowl this year, we're going to have to beat that football team. How do we do it? You got to be better than them. And that's a tough task right now when you look at that roster and the way that we played in week 1 versus the way they played. They are a better roster top to bottom than we are right now. And if Brock Purdy, forget being better than Jalen Hurts. If he turns the ball over less than Jalen Hurts, they're going to win more football games and they're going to have a better chance to beat us. So I get what you're saying. They came in last year wearing black like they were going to the Eagles' funeral and beat the brakes off them. WCBJJ. But it'd be one thing if they did that and then they lost the game. They came in, they said they were going to do it, and then they did it. As a competitor, in a way, you have to respect that. Now, you got to beat it now, but they did what they said they were going to do last year. So that's a team that should not, we should not mess with. That's a good football team, man.
Hit the like button, guys. Somebody brought a great topic up yesterday, and I want to throw this to you here. Let's do this here. Hang on. I got a comment from Gary Cobb here. Oh, okay. Here's somebody brought this up. Did you see 2023 Jalen Hurts this past Friday?
Yeah, at times. I mean, when he was at his worst, yes. But at other times, you saw, great things coming from Jalen Hurts.
Right.
That was my problem.
Up against the blitz was improved.
Yeah, definitely that was improved. He was the top-rated quarterback in the league against the blitz. Now, it was a smaller sample size than I expected.
Still,
I think seven blitzes on him.
I think he was 6 or 7 for whatever.
7, yeah, with a perfect quarterback rating against it. So he definitely improved in that front. But I got to get those lows a little bit, higher. He can't. It's one thing if you're going to have great highs, but when you have the highs are high, but the lows are low, and that's what we saw on Friday night.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, too many peaks and valleys. So he'll clean that up, and I'm pretty confident he will do that. And if he does that, man, we're gonna be a tough team to beat because look, 34 points or 3 turnovers, that's pretty damn good. And then on the flip side, your defense gives up 29 to a pretty good offense, and and 2 of those drives in the beginning were in their own when they're in their own zone. So it's like the defense kind of handled it pretty well by only giving up 6 points on those first 2 drives.
I look at football teams differently than a lot of folks. I look at the first quarter poll of a season. I know there's 17 games now, Zander, but I look at the first 4 games of the year.
Yeah, that's what Barrett Brooks used to say. He used to do it, I think, in 3 or 4. He said after 4 games, you can assess where you're at.
You know how you look at the first 20 games of a baseball team and then you get to the All-Star break and you kind of have an idea what you're looking at here? That's kind of what I'm looking at. And albeit, I'd rather be 1-0 than 0-1. But to me, I could not believe some of the folks in here had really good takes in the first hour when I was saying the reason that Hurts is late on the throws and the reason that he was behind and maybe he didn't see things was because I just think this is a rep issue. I just think he's like, I think JM, who traditionally has no good takes whatsoever until the fourth hour, said it perfectly. He goes, you can actually see him thinking out there instead of it just being a natural thing for him. So this comes back to a little bit, even Nick addressed it today, about exhibition football. There's no doubt, Zander, that the Eagles value availability more than they do preparedness and readiness for the first 3 weeks of the season. And what would I rather have? Well, I'd rather have my guys on the field.
Yeah. And that's what Nick has said. He said, I'm okay with rust, basically. They're okay with rust because they want to keep their guys healthy. And by the way, here's your results-based guy. They're 4-0 in Nick Sirianni's openers. So I came onto the postgame show and I said, I don't want to hear anybody say we don't need preseason reps ever again. I got news for me and for everybody else. They are not going to play the preseason ever. Not with Nick. And now maybe if something changed drastically with a different coach or a different regime came in.
And they've been pretty healthy in 4 years with him, don't you think?
They have been. You know, that they have been. They've been overall really healthy. So I don't anticipate them changing. That doesn't mean I agree with it, but they're 4-0 in Nick Sirianni's openers. So he's not worried about the rust in week one. He's just not. I can't blame him, really.
I think the Eagles would even be willing to take an L to have availability over that. I mean, obviously, that's how they're looking at it. Yeah. They'd rather have you can't look. Hey, Sills, would you rather be ready and lose a guy in week one like a Jalen Carter? No. I mean, no, I don't want that. We got to get pressured on Kirk to beat the Falcons. Carter and Davis got to have big games, which they didn't. They had a big first quarter. By week 4, we could tell what kind of team we got here. That's what I'm looking at.
Nate, big time. Because if you look at that Atlanta game that they played, there was a lot of pressure. Yep, a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins.
DJ owned that game.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. And that Pittsburgh defense is pretty good. So that's you're spot on, Nate. Like I know I said that team looks ripe to beat, and we look like a lot better than them. And in a way, they look like some food for us next week. You're going to have to get pressure because Kirk Cousins is capable of throwing the ball. Here's the problem, though, right now, Sills, with my take on the Falcons. That didn't look like the same Kirk Cousins. Remember, Kirk Cousins has never had an injury like that before that last year. Remember, he had however many straight years.
Mobility was limited. It looked.
Well, I mean, he went however many years without a big injury, never missing games and everything like that. And then he gets one injury. Now it's a bad injury. He wasn't planting to throw the ball. He couldn't move it all in the pocket. He looked timid. He looked scared at times. I mean, it looked like he didn't trust his foot at all.
But you know why he couldn't trust his footing? Can I tell you what Pittsburgh did that is so smart? My friend Carl Dunbar, who's a D-line coach, great conversation on Monday with him. Do you know what he had them doing? Oh, it's so brilliant. Zander. He had Hayward and those guys diving at his legs, not going at him, but making him do what? Watch this. When you dive at a quarterback's legs, his head goes down, the ball sails.
Yeah.
He was so worried about his lower leg injury from a year ago and not being confident in it, plus the outside edge pressure, the internal. How many times did you see him with internal pressure that really got to him? So to me, in this game on Monday, Davis and Carter, if they get that internal pressure, and Linderbaum, by the way, went out. They got a really good center in there. Now, I don't know if he's going to be healthy for Monday night. That's got to be a win.
How about this guy?
His rating was.
How about this guy? Look,
47.
How about this guy shows up versus the Falcons? You want pressure on Kirk, and I get it. We want it from Davis and Carter. But how about Milk Carton? How about 17-5 Bryce Huff, who everybody's all jacked up, and we got rid of one of the best one of the best pass rushers in the NFL to sign this guy, and the anticipation from the front office was that this guy was going to replace some of that production. Huff has been nowhere. He was nowhere in training camp, and we chalked it up to Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata.
Brandon Graham had more reps.
I know. So I want Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter to be great too. But when you're talking about getting after the quarterback, it's time for Milk Carton to show up. It's time, and I'm not going to give him that long. Now I will think back to Hassan Reddick. It took him 5 or 6 weeks to get going when he got signed here, but we don't have 5 or 6 weeks. You got paid $17.5 million, man. You better get out there and get after the quarterback. And if you're not going to get sacks, fine. You better get pressure. He got 0 pressures on Friday night. 0.
This is where I'm going to call bullshit on Fredo Sirianni here. He was asked a question. I don't know. I think it was Jeff McClain that asked the question. And he goes like this. He goes, what did you take that Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham had more reps than Bryce Huff? You know what he said? It was about keeping guys fresh and this and that. I'm like, keeping guys fresh? Nick, answer the question honestly. You paid a guy $51 million and you're rotating him with a 39-year-old Brandon Graham? I mean, what the hell are you doing, man? Brandon Graham is in the cusp of getting wheelchairs and rocking chairs on his farewell tour, and he's playing more and actually better than what this guy is. And you gave that guy $51 million. Come on, dog.
No, you're right. You're right. No doubt. I mean, look, everybody's giving him a pass because of the field, and that's what Lord Vaughn says. And I get it. Everybody
Lord
wants
Vaughn
to
has
give him,
horrible takes.
I get it. Everybody wants to give him a pass. Well, all right. Week 1 mulligan. You better show up in Atlanta, or it's in Philly, but you better show up versus Atlanta. That's a guy that needs to produce for this team to be successful, especially on defense. I mean, a lot of this defense is built on getting pressure on the quarterback, and they didn't get any of it on Friday. So, and we kind of skated by. We got lucky a little bit there. So he's going to have to show up, no doubt.
You want to feel better about Fredo Sirianni? I'm going to give you a list here. You ready? Here are the coaches that were hired in 2021. Ready? Brandon Staley from the Chargers.
Yeah.
Urban Liar with the Jags.
God.
Arthur Smith for the Falcons. Robert Saleh for the Jets. I think Nick's better.
All 3 of the 4 are fired, and Robert Saleh stinks on ice. He should be fired.
I got another one for you. David Culley, Houston Texans. And the only other guy that you would put ahead of Nick would be Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell, I'm giving the edge to.
How's that for you? All those guys, 7 coaches were hired. Nick's been to the playoffs every year. He owns an NFC. And all those guys, there's only one guy that owns an NFC championship. That's Nick Sirianni. There's only one guy that's been to the playoffs every year. He's been a head coach. It's Nick Sirianni. I mean, hey, of all those guys hired in 21, like you said, Urban Liar's back on TV again. Arthur Smith, I think, is the OC of the Steelers. The guy in New York is on a respirator there, especially after last night when it's you know, the thing that kind of shocked me about the Jets last night wasn't so much the fact that Aaron Rodgers had rust. What happened to the Jets defense? They got rolled off the field. I mean, that was about.
Well, it's funny. I was saying this to John.
Like 50 minutes of ass kicking last night by the Niners.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was saying to John, and I just was ripping him with Bryce Huff, and I went on social media. All of Jets Twitter last night was like, you know, we expected undrafted free agents to replace Bryce Huff, and they were getting nothing from their 3rd and 4th edge rushers, and they were all you know, pissed off about their not having Bryce Huff anymore. So, you know, look, there's multiple ways to look at it, and the Jets fans are pissed we lost him, and we're pissed we got him if he's not going to be able to produce. So we'll see what ends up happening with everything, but you're right.
Don't forget, folks, our great friends. I got 2 more questions for you, Zander. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. You're looking for a new betting home this football season. It's off and running right now. You can join it anytime, too, by the way. It's the home of Michael Vick. Great opportunity for you guys, and we're proud here at JAKIB Sports to be partnered up with these guys during the 2024 season. Your first 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K are there for you, plus 200% in crypto bonuses also for you. As I said, it's the home of Michael Vick. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, and live wagering on all major games, college and pro. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Back in 30 seconds.
We'll be back. We're actually going to stay right here. BetUS moved on from their spot, so we're good to just keep rolling now. Just use that code, everybody, YouTube150, for anybody that goes to betus.com.pa.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All good here. So moving forward, are you giving Jalen Hurts a pass for the first game?
I mean, we won the game. He threw for 280 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. I thought he had a decent game. I just thought the lows were too low. So I'm not giving him a pass on the turnovers. You absolutely have to clean it up, because if you continue that type of football, you're not going to reach the promised land in the NFL. You just can't turn the ball over that much. Other teams are too good. It's too competitive of a league. So I'm not giving him a pass on that front, but I didn't think what I saw was like, holy crap, sound the alarm on what's going on with Jalen Hurts. I just thought that's a dumb mistake, and you can't make those dumb mistakes anymore when you're in the league for as long as you are, and you have, you're making what you're making, and our season is relying on him in a lot of ways.
Completely it is.
Yeah, completely.
Your season's not relying on AJ or Devontae. They had great years a year ago. It's all about the quarterback, dude. I get this. Think about it, Zander. A year ago, those guys all had pretty much career years, and it didn't result in advancing in the playoffs. This is all on him. He needs to be more effective. And again, what are you expecting to see out of him after week 2?
Jalen Hurts is going to have
350,
3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 120+ rating in the game versus the Falcons. It's the Jalen Hurts coming out party in Atlanta in 6 days.
You think they're beating the Falcons, right?
I think they're destroying them.
You know why? I
think 45-10.
Where are you getting your pressure from to get to him?
Jalen Carter.
Oh.
Bryce.
Lowest rated D tackle in football, according to the Bible. Not that I believe it. 163 yards. What do you think? Who's covering Bijan Robinson?
That's not my official prediction, guys, by the way, 45-10. That's a little bit lofty. But I do think they're going to destroy the Falcons next week. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a fantastic game. Fantastic.
Who has a better game? Bijan Robinson or Saquon?
Saquon.
I'll take Bijan.
I'm sure you will.
He had a better year a year ago on a shitty Falcons team.
Well, they're using him more now. Last year, a lot of Falcons fans.
He had 1,600 yards in total offense a year ago.
Yeah, a lot of fans are upset with how much they didn't run him at times. I forget who the other back they had that they kept giving the ball to. So they gave it more to Bijan. Bijan's a great player. I'm not knocking Bijan at all. I like Bijan a lot, but you're asking me to pick between him and Saquon. I'm going to take my man Saquon every single time, baby.
My man Saquon. Okay.
I just gave away a jersey. By the way, update for everybody. The jersey was given away. Our man, what's his name? William Fleming did claim the jersey, and he is a great man. I spoke with him on the phone today. He has given the jersey to his grandson, his 10-year-old grandson. So I ordered the jersey. It's already been ordered, shipping it right to his house, and he is going to get that jersey. So make sure you guys become a member if you want to be entered into the next one. But I thought that was worth giving you guys the update that he did claim the jersey.
Is JH's last drive versus Packers a better drive than the OT win? No. Since winning versus the Packers resurged the Eagles' fate in winning again. Dude, I thought that moment he had against the Bills in that overtime, I thought that was one of the best moments that Jalen Hurts had as a football player because, man, that was a guts drive at the end there in that overtime. Josh Allen had 500 yards in total offense in that game. I mean, you had to do everything in your power, and it was one. I'll say one thing that I agree with Nick Sirianni, Zander, I'll let you go here. I will give you this about him. There's something about him is this. There's a mentality about him that you have to murder him. And what I mean by that is you can't wound him.
Who, Jalen?
You can't injure him. You have to kill him.
Yeah.
Because
I know exactly
he'll
what
come
you're
back to
saying.
haunt you. He'll come back to haunt you if you don't take him completely out. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. You're right. He's relentless, and John talks about that all the time. So the lows are low, but he keeps coming, man. He really does. It's a good point by you, and it's very, very, very true. Jalen does keep coming, relentless like a pit bull. Abe says in the chat. Appreciate that one, Abe. But no, you're right. There's no doubt about it. So you know, the one thing I don't like though is I don't like continuously digging holes that we have to get out of.
Yep.
You know, like that beginning of the game, that could have been 14-0, man, really quick. Like we're lucky that thing didn't go like it
I said, they won. I think they won the game in the first 10 minutes of the game because
I know by not giving up touchdowns there. I mean, Green Bay got the ball at the 18-yard line for crying out loud. So, you know, I look, Jalen is going to be a machine versus the Falcons. Mark it now. Take your bets on BetUS.
375 and 5 touchdowns.
No, look, Eagles talk. He says he's going to tie the 7-touchdown record.
God. Hey, Eagle talk, let me ask you something. If you had to win a 60-minute game, would you take Nick or would you take Hurts?
You've already asked me that on the show.
I know. I'm asking him.
I'm
he
moving
donated
on from that
$2.
question.
You know you're taking old Nicky. Big swinging Nick. You know you're taking him. You ain't taking 23 turnovers in 18 games.
I don't think I'm taking Nick.
Oh, my God. You have totally sold out. All right, man. You have fish. Jay, he is now with all of you. He has completely sold out now. He is 100% sold that Hurts is the future and he will be in the Eagle Hall of Fame one day. You think he makes the Eagle Hall of Fame one day? He couldn't even say it. He had to nod his head.
Sills, I think Jalen Hurts, when it's all said and done.
Oh, God.
I think he has multiple Super Bowls in Philly.
No way. No way. How can you have multiple Super Bowls with multiple coordinators every year?
Multiple Super Bowls for Jalen Hurts in Philly. We will be having several parades on Broad Street with Jalen Hurts at the helm, a 26-year-old stud at quarterback who continues to get better and better. Howie has built the Avengers squad around him.
How about Howie Roseman on the sideline? I was like, what are they doing letting the little fella out there on the sideline? He's out there, you see him going, they scored, and he's like, yeah. And I'm going like, what's that guy doing out there? What is he doing? You got the little elf guy out there running around on the sidelines there. Is he not a glory whore?
I'll tell you what, your comment yesterday had me cracking up, man. Did somebody need their taxes done? I was crying, man.
Hey, there he was on the sideline, Roseman and Associates. I'm going.
I'll tell you what, speaking of Howie, he's a good GM, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because every report that has come out has been confirmed. He went for both Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, and neither of them wanted to come to the city of Philadelphia. And now, I mean, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. You might not be his biggest fan. He's a lot better than both of those two guys right about now. So we're in good hands with Jalen Hurts. And Howie got a little lucky there, but sometimes, like I sauld, it's better to be lucky than good.
One last thing, Zander. Do you know how we were talking about how you can't move off of Hurts if you ever had? Not that you would. You would not.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd be like something like what, 50 million or something. You know how much money it is right now if you moved off of Deshaun Watson? It's $180 million they owe him still. $180 million.
Yeah. You know, what did you think? Did you see that there's now another suit coming out against him?
When it rains, it pours, dude.
I know.
Let me ask you this. How about this? Isn't it really funny? Who's a quarterback in the league that has an asshole attitude like a Cleveland person? Who's a guy in the league that kind of looks like Cleveland in a way? Who's a guy that is a smart ass? Isn't that Baker Mayfield? I mean, of all the people that kind of look like Cleveland, you know what they did? They panicked and went for the guy instead of hanging on to the guy that they had in the room. And at the end of the day, they gave up too soon.
I know.
I mean,
look, here's the thing, though. Would Baker?
I know hindsight's 20/20.
Well, would Baker have turned into what he's turned into in there? I don't know. I don't like that Browns organization. I don't think they do much of anything right. They haven't done anything right, especially at quarterback, and however many years it's been, 30 freaking years, or however many years it's been. So, but I am a Baker guy. I'm with you, man. I liked Baker when he was drafted. I liked him in college. Yeah, I liked his mentality. I liked the kind of the FU approach he had, especially when you're an undersized dude and you have the deficiencies that Baker has going up against, guys in the NFL. You got to have that chip on your shoulder, and he does. So I like Baker coming out, and he's really looking good, man. He was he the top? He was up. He must have been up there as a top-rated quarterback.
No, he was the top pick.
Yeah, or I think Darnold had the best rating, but from PFF at least. But
no, I was saying he was the number 1 overall pick by Cleveland.
Oh no, yeah, I'm talking about this week.
Oh yeah,
I think he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Dude, 147.7 rating. He was like 26 of 30 for 287 and 4 touchdowns. He's picked up right where he left off, 4,100 yards a year ago and 28 touchdowns. I tell you what, the Bucs look pretty good with that. Mike Evans is still a stud.
Yeah, I love Mike.
He is such. Even Kid Godwin was good this past weekend. It depends on the game. Playoff Nick season hurts. Well, I'll take playoff Nicky because those are the games that matter. Not 2 and 3 hurts anyway. Well, Zander says. Oh, by the way, who said that?
What matters more though, dude? You can't hedge that question like that.
Yeah, an Eagle fan can.
No, he can't. You're talking about playoff, you're going to take Nick, and season, you're going to take Jalen Hurts. That means you're taking Nick. Because when you have a 60-minute game on the line, it's for more than a regular season win. Sileo is not asking that question to win in week 4 versus the measly Patriots. He's talking about a Super Bowl when you got 60 minutes on the line. That means you're taking Nick.
Or
Say
a game to claim
your chest.
Or a game to claim home field advantage. That's the kind of games I'm talking about. By the way, somebody said that he's with Zander, that multiple Super Bowls by the greatness of Jalen Hurts
Eagles
will happen.
Talk, baby. My man, Eagles Talk is riding with me. Jack Straw says, Zander, where are you at here? Are you talking about the Nick and Jalen? I told you I'm taking Jalen. I'll take Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts shines when the lights are the brightest. He always has. And I'll take him for sure.
Nick Foles has always shined when the lights are the brightest and wins.
Talk about high highs and low lows, though.
5-2 in the playoffs. How you doing?
Hey, look, we got a Lombardi trophy because of Nick Foles. You'll never hear me say anything bad about Nick.
And he got a statue. Being a backup quarterback personifies Philly right there, man. Hardworking, nothing handed to him. I like it, man. Really good stuff. Zander, where are we in the like list, my friend? Hey, by the way, there's one of my favorite people right there, Des the Joe. Look at him here, man. I love this guys. Nick Foles' defense made a play.
156. We're lacking on the likes.
Come on here, guys. Oh, how about this, though, Zander? Okay, Eagles have a few guys on the O-line, 2 burgers away from 400 pounds. And it was on display here, Sydney. Okay? You could call those 2 guys the White Castle brothers. How you doing?
Jack, you're right. This chat's going nuts, man. This chatter's been crazy these last couple of days. Look, the season's here, everybody.
We're behind. We need 200 immediately.
Yeah, we're way behind.
Come on, man. We need to get up to 200 here. Don't forget, Gary Cobb's going to join us at the bottom of the hour as well. And then we're hoping to get Mike Golick maybe in hour number 4 at 5:30 Eastern. Zander.
JM and Flexen, behave in the chat, man. You're making it hard to read on the show. I mean, JM and Flexen have been going at it for 30 freaking minutes.
Damn, this thing's been flying, man. I mean, the chat is flying today here.
I know.
You guys are kidding. By the way, a lot of folks in on all of our social media platforms today, huh? Pretty good stuff here, man.
Yeah, man.
About 1,000 people.
A lot of people loving the content this week. It's great stuff. So appreciate everybody.
That looks what happened. This is why these guys keep doing this. He still wants the Eagles to lose. Why would I want the Eagles to lose? I like my show to win. How you doing? All right, homie. I'll see you tomorrow morning on Birds 365 with John McMullen. Don't forget Farzetta kicks off the morning here also on our platform here. Zander, great stuff, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate yourselves. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Behave, everybody. Come on, man. Let's talk some football. All right, guys. See you.
Got it, man. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like list or the like button here. We appreciate it. We'll have Gary Cobb around the corner. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those cats were fast as lightning. Huh. It with expert timing. Wah! Hassan Reddick's here to fight, y'all. Huh. Oh, hey, Funky Town. Hassan Reddick, baby. Joe Douglas is sitting there with his boys going like this now to Robert Saylor going, hey, man, do we sign the Kung Fu Kid? Do we sign Danielson? Hey, man, well, you better have Mr. Miyagi parachute in, and you better get that boy in camp, man, because at the end of the day, you had no pressure on Brock Purdy. Everybody was Hassan Reddick. Yeah. That was laughing his ass off. Yeah. He watched the Niners kill the Jets. Yeah. Holy shit. Hassan Reddick. Still hit the bong. I'm high on life. Ding dong. Big Sills is high on life. I'm high. You know what I hit on? Content. You roll that content up. It's sticky green content here on the National Football Show. You could put it in a hookah. Not that I know what that is. I only heard. Right? Woo! You guys think you could beat the Niners right now? No. The Niners are so much a better football team than you. And it would mean, now look, it's week 1. Mac giving up 163 yards on the ground. And when McCaffrey and that, what was the kid's name? Wait, who's the undrafted free agent kid? Jordan Mason? 28 carries, 147, TD. You gave up 10 yards a carry against Green Bay. They played the Jets. Oh, yeah, that's right, senor. Because your defense giving up 400 yards to the Packers, you wouldn't give up that same amount of yards to the 49ers. Oh, okay. Right? You don't think the 49ers would put – wait a minute. So are you trying to tell me that the 49er offense is not better than Green Bay's offense? Listen to Senor here. Okay? We broke Jordan Love. So he's sitting here suggesting to you that the Green Bay offense is just as potent as the 49er offense. As I tell you before, just remember something about Senor. He traditionally has horrible takes. There's another one. The Packer offense is better than the 49er offense. Hey, Niner all day. Niner all day. Are you hearing him? Are you hearing him? He's saying, by the way, Gary Cobb in a couple minutes. Okay? He's saying he thinks Green Bay's got a better offense. I'm talking about the 49er offense versus your shit defense. And by the way, are you suggesting that you think the Jets have a better defense than the 49ers? They're not. Woo! That Packer team, man, better than the Niners. I don't think so. Okay? Sills, the Eagles and Niners are both wasting the talent they have. They both can't and won't win a Super Bowl as long as the Chiefs are good. Okay. All right. I believe we can win in a shootout. I don't. All right. I couldn't wait to hear Gary and get his opinion on what he saw because, I mean, before I bring Gary Cobb up, I want to throw a number at him right away. And look, he'll say it like any NFL guy will say it. You're 1-0. You're playing C- football. And I would say this. You better hope they're not playing a B-plus football now. Because if you think they're playing B-plus, that's what they were a year ago. And that wasn't good enough. I think there's a lot of room for improvement with this football team. Okay? I do. I think there's a lot of room. But here's a number I'm going to give Gary before he comes on here. In the last 18 games, Hurts has 23 turnovers. Okay? You're not going to be a championship football team turning the football over. Let's bring in our friend from Fox 29, former Eagle himself. It is Gary Cobb. And Gary, that number that I just threw at you, I mean, look, they get to win. They fought for it. Green Bay, they did everything. I mean, I say this, Gary, they probably won that football game in the first 10 minutes by holding them to 6 instead of 14. So just some of the takeaways for you on what you saw this past Friday with the Birds.
Well, of course, it starts with Jalen. That's not winning football. You play if he plays like that, most times they're gonna lose the game. And you said it in that the defense saved them because they would have been down 14-0 right from the start, where you come out right away and you've been hit, and all of a sudden you're down 14-0. Normally you don't win those games, and so the defense did a good job of keeping them out of the end zone and keeping the Eagles in the game. Of course, the interception at the end, how you throw that ball? I mean, I know looking back, they said, A.J. Brown slipped, or he probably would have prevented the interception. But still, you got three guys there, and they're all, there by A.J. So chances are that they're going to come down with the ball rather than he's going to be able to. And then you got to look at the situation and realize, look, we kick a field goal, we're up by 8. We don't need to push. And this is the thing that Jalen's got to think from now on. I don't think there's more talent on one offense in the NFL. I mean, they got talent. So you don't need – it's like you're playing basketball and you got Michael Jordan and who else? And LeBron. They're on the same team. You're the point guard. You're going, look, I just got to give these guys the ball and let them – we're going to win this game. But the only way we lose this game, if I'm doing something, I'm trying to force stuff. He doesn't need to force anything. They're going to score 30-some points if he will just take what's there. Against most defenses, it's going to take an exceptional defense that's putting pressure on them somewhere to stop them, because they got so many guys that get open, so many guys that can take over a game. Add in Saquon to it. And so Jalen has got to go into the game knowing, look, I'm going to take what they give me. I'm going to take care of the ball. I don't need to force anything. I'm just going to let these guys do their thing. He goes into a game like that, they're going to score enough points to win most of their games. So he's got to go in with that mentality. Now, Saquon, I wasn't that shocked. I'm sitting out there looking at him. I've seen him as a player. I know you add all these other guys. He didn't have these guys up in New York. When everybody's playing the Giants, they go, look, put 10 guys in the box. We're not going to let Saquon beat us. We don't care about these other guys. They don't have, these other guys aren't that good. He's not in that situation now. He's with guys like A.J. Brown. Boom, he catches the ball. He's gone, man. You miss a tap. Devontae Smith. Man, I think so much of him. As slim and skinny as he is, son of a gun is tough, man. These are the guys they got on the team. So they've got so many weapons. I mean, these guys, and I see them out there working, man. They got guys that work. A.J. Brown, Devontae, and those guys, they're not yet. They're over there working, and they're ready. And so you can't say enough about those guys. And Jalen's got to know, and this is great for him in this game, in that they won the game despite that. I don't need to force anything. We can go ahead and punt. We're going to score on those other times because there are few defenses that are going to be able to deal with all these weapons. So they got to just go out and play their game. Now, offensive line, I like the job that Becton did. Pleased with him. I mean, he could be another where he's a force in there where he's got a tough matchup and he dominates. So I really feel good about the offense and everything. Defensively, I saw some good things. Look, got to do better. We got to tackle better.
Yeah.
So they got to tackle much better. Who is it? Looking at the Bryce Huff. Dude, did he go?
Hey, wait, Gary.
Did he go down there?
Hey, Zander. Show Zander, if you're there, show Gary the new drink that's at Wawa, if we can. There's the new drink. It's the milk carton at Wawa. It's called the milk carton drink. It's a little bitter, though, Gary. So when you go to Wawa, you have to ask for it because it's special delivery, because you really don't see it a lot on the shelves. So here it is right here. It's the Bryce Huff milk carton Wawa milk drink. So, okay, I mean, dude, Brady Graham had more snaps than the guy.
I know. I mean, we're going to see. We're gonna,
51 million, Gary, 51 million.
I know. He's got to show up. I saw some things I liked from Davis, of course, Carter. But they got to get more. They got to play better. The defensive line, especially those guys coming from outside. I did see Sweat some where he showed up on a few plays and everything, but they got to do better.
Nolan Smith too.
Yeah, Nolan Smith too. I want to see more of them. Linebackers, I like, I mean.
Zach Bond, what is that about?
I mean, dude is, I didn't expect that out of him. But he's a big guy that can run. The Son Gun is a big guy that can run. And so he was playing free and he's seeing things and believe in his eyes. Hey, I see a guy, they're showing me this. Go blow it up. And so he had a great game. I mean, that's a game. He might be defensive player of the week or something with that type of performance.
15 tackles, an Eagle record.
Yeah,
I
that's
find that hard to believe, but
yeah, that's hard to believe too. That's an Eagle record. But anyway, a great job. I mean, I take my hat off to them. Then on the downside, of course, the kid Quinyon Mitchell. I like the job he did competing. And that shows that you got a young kid that's able to deal with the situation, which is, I'm not backing down anybody. I'm not out here, I want to be somebody's highlight reel. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to compete. If I get beat, I'm going to get up. I'm play the next play. You like to see that out of the kid. He's got some maturity, and I see a guy that's going to be able to play and help them right now. But they've got to get better. Avonte Maddox, come on, man. That was not a good game.
And Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, and Gardner Johnson. You're right.
Hey, Gary, is
the
this
tackling,
troubling,
man? What's
is
that?
this troubling to you too? They did give up 163 yards rushing, and on top of that, I thought they looked like they were out of shape in the second half, man. They did not look, because do you know that Josh Jacobs and that Packer offense was running the ball at 9.5 yards a clip?
Come on.
In the second half.
The tackling was horrible. I mean, come on. You don't have to kill a guy. Wrap the guy up. Grab something. Don't just come in with these, tackles where you go in and just colliding with a guy. No, use your arms, man. Wrap the guy up. Then you get your teammates to come and help you. You can't have a guy blowing through the defense the way they were. That's not going to get it. So they, I know that it's early in the season, but, I think with the coaching staff that they got, they're going to get, whatever. It's going to be brought to their attention. They got to play better. And so, and then, what bothered me was then looking at Dallas. I'm going, oh my goodness, man. They got the work cut out for them. I mean,
and the Niners.
You see those three teams, I was talking about, hey, one of those three teams going to the Super Bowl. I think they clearly are ahead of everybody in the conference. It's not really that close.
Detroit too, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Detroit. Maybe Detroit too. You're right. I shouldn't have spoken and left Detroit out because, and you see teams that seem like they're going to take the field. They expect to win, and they come out to compete. And I think it's going to be such an exciting year. The Eagles are going to be part of it, but nobody's giving out any trophies right now. So nobody looking for no trophies. They got to get better. They got to play better. They know they got to play better than that.
How about this, Gary? Let me, and I think you look at I tell everybody the same thing. Look, would you rather be 0-1 or 1-0? Obviously, you want to be 1-0.
That's right.
But I think you and I look at it like the first quarter poll of the season, the first 4 games. What are you looking at here? And in that first game, the turnovers, tell me what bothered you more, the turnovers, or was it the poor decision-making and the late throws? Because when you go back and watch 22,
you can't throw the ball. Come on, you can't as a quarterback, you cannot throw the ball over the middle late. There's too many people out there. You cannot do that. And that's why I say the emphasis of what I think Jalen takes away from this game is, look, like I said, I got LeBron and Michael Jordan. Look, I just got to get these guys the ball, and they're going to help us win the game. I don't need to force anything. He doesn't need to force anything. Don't need any superhuman plays. Let those guys do their thing, and there's no defense that can take all these guys away. And you just feed the ball to these guys, so he doesn't need to force anything. I think that's the thing he comes out of this game with is, look, if somebody's there, if there's not anything there, then throw the ball away. We'll be all right. But if you turn the ball over, that's the only thing that's going to give the other team a chance, especially these bad teams they're going to be playing. A good team, you guys need to play better. But really, they don't even need to play good against some of the teams they're playing. I mean, and I know that I shouldn't be talking that way, but I'm on the side. The players shouldn't be where they got to come in and play their best every week. But I'll tell you, I look at the talent on this team. The only way they got to give away these games to some of these teams they're going to be playing. So just take care of the football. That, you know, we don't need to force a ball into traffic. He doesn't need to do that. Take what they give you, and you'll be fine because they're so much better and they got so much talent offensively. Now,
Gary,
defensively, they got to play better. Guys have to play better. So defensively, they got to take some steps up.
there was a positive, though, on Jalen's side here in that game, in the fact that, you know, they had been working on the blitz. He was the highest rated quarterback against the blitz of any of the quarterbacks in the opening week. I mean, he was 6 of 7. I know a small sample size there, but still, I mean, that's better than what we saw in 23. And that was one of the things that they wanted to kind of address. And you knew that Green Bay was going to throw a lot of blitzes. So there, if you're looking for a silver lining, there is that
that's the plus. Yeah,
he did improve on that, at least in the first week.
And you know what? He had been doing that out at practice. So we saw that, expected it, and he was able to see the blitz. He's getting rid of the football, and he's seeing, you know, what he's recognizing what they're in. And he did an excellent job in that area. So, you know, I mean, that is a great point, and it's a huge point because it shows the growth from a year ago, and that this whole team has grown to where they see the blitz. And one of the throws he made outside to A.J. Brown on an out route, you know, outstanding because he got rid of the ball early, and he needed to because of the blitz was coming, and he's able to get to the ball. It's on target. A.J. catches the football and goes for the first down. That is, you know, that's winning football when you're playing like that. So that was outstanding, and he's going in the right direction. And as we saw really in training camp, he was doing all these things in camp, seeing everything. He's recognizing things. And so I see big things ahead. And I think Jalen's going to take care of the football. And he'll see that, look, I don't have to press anything. With all this talent we got here, all I need to do is let these guys do their thing. And if he does that and gets the ball into their hands, they're going to have good things that are going to happen. Now, of course, there are going to be challenges, you know, but really, you know, there are going to be some tough teams. You know, they got those games against Dallas. Those are going to be some good games. They're going to have to play their best football. But right now, what they need to do is they need to tighten up these, you know, the fundamentals and be fundamentally sound in everything they do. The defense has got to play better. They need some people to show up defensively, mainly on that defensive line and in the secondary.
How about this, Gary? I mean, I heard Nick today talking at the press conference, and he made it very clear this was an organizational decision. And do you agree when you watch Jalen, the first game, you saw a little bit on the defensive side? Is this more of a reps issue? And it was very clear that the organization would rather have their players available than play exhibition football, but you can't really have both. If you're not going to play them, they're not going to be as prepared. Look at what we saw with Aaron Rodgers last night. He hadn't played football in 2 years, and it showed last night. He was rusty. The defense for the Eagles had to play in the exhibition season because there were so many new people, but that side looked like it was more prepared than the other side was. Where do you fall on this? Because to me, it looks like a reps issue. You're late on throws. You're holding the ball too long. Poor decisions. Going across your body, making that throw like that was absurd. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, but does that just come with reps?
You know, I think there is some legitimacy to that, you know, that the reps are very important. And, you know, for that matter, mistakes, you know, you go ahead and get that out of your system when you're playing against, you know, you're playing in a real game where there's a competition. And you don't get that from practice. I don't care what kind of practice they got. It's not the same, you know, when you're going out there, especially the practices they had where they don't even have full tackling, you know, some of the reps. So I think that's probably a part of the rust, you know, the snap with the Juergens and that snap, that type of thing. That's where you need to get in a real game. And, you have that pressure. There's a certain pressure that, only got somebody that plays, goes out there. They know that they have there's a certain, intensity that you have in practice, whatever type of practices it is. But that's why you do need to play in the game. And they decided, though, now I understand where they're coming from. We would rather go into the game a little rusty, figuring, hey, we got time to get everything in place, as long as we come out with the W. And they came out with the W, so you can't say, well, I don't like doing it that way. But they don't have any big injuries.
And that's the way they're thinking. Nick's 4-0 in openers.
So, I mean, I understand what he's made a decision on. And, hey, if that's the way you believe, that's fine with me. But you're going to have a little rust, though. You're going to have more rust than you would want to. But, as long as you get out with the W. And they got out of there with the W, so I don't have a problem with that.
How about this, Gary? 2 last ones here for you. Saquon's on, and not that he's going to. Nobody's ever carried the ball this much, I don't think. But nobody's going to do this. But he's on pace for 404 carries. Now, there's no way. I think it's going to be a week-to-week thing here.
Correct.
However, the workload, do you concern yourself with Barkley in the workload? He carried the ball 24 times. He was an integral part a little bit. And I really loved that Devontae and AJ were decoys, and that pass down the sideline, they set that thing up for him to be able to run down the seam like that. And that was a perfect pass. So he's involved a lot, more so than I thought, when it came to the offensive attack. Are you concerned about the workload?
Well, I don't see him really running the ball that many times.
24.
I don't see them doing that consistently. I think they will get the ball in his hands, though. And so that means, in a passing with, screens and pass plays where they get the ball in his hands. Because looking at them there at the training camp they had, that was one of the first things you could see Jalen and Saquon focusing on this, where they're working on their timing. They were running those, deep routes and different types of routes they're running to throwing the ball, but they were working on getting the timing of it because they knew this was going to be an integral part of the offense, because Saquon is a very good athlete. I mean, he's an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
And so you see a guy that's that big and who's as fast as he is and can catch the ball, you're going to utilize that. So I think they're going to be doing different things, different ways. They're getting the ball in his hands. And also at times, where he spreads out and really puts pressure on the defense, and they got a choice. You're going to leave that linebacker one-on-one with him, or are you going to try to double? You're so intent on doubling AJ or Devontae or somebody, or you're going to leave that linebacker one-on-one on Saquon. So they really have the weapons. They put that intense pressure on you, and from week to week, you see where it's going to be tough for defenses to make the right call, because, what kind of linebacker is going to run and stay with him? Nah, that's not going to happen. It might happen every now and then, but, most linebackers, they can't run with him. So you're basically putting that linebacker in a situation where he can give up a big play. And then also I think that if they can give him the ball in space, it's going to be tough, because I know I can tell you, I can look back and would I be wanting to cover him? No. I'm telling the safety, hey, I'm yelling to the safety, man. Look over here, man. Because this guy, with a combination of speed and size, that's a tough matchup. That's really a tough matchup. So you've got him over there. So, and I saw during the practice, they're spreading him out. They're moving him around. So they're going to be able to put him in positions where they're going to really put a lot of pressure on a defense, and then they can always shift them back and, hey, run the ball. Okay, you want to spread everybody out. Okay, we're going to run the ball on this play. So they're in that situation. So I can see them. They're going to be getting into more where it's basically check with me, where they're calling the play at the line of scrimmage and putting the defense in a situation where they can't be right.
Finally here, I know everybody, because they watched the I watched the Atlanta game on Sunday because I wanted to see what Atlanta was going to do.
Yeah.
And there's no question TJ Watt and the pressure, especially internal pressure, was all over Cousins. And
Yes.
that was the winning factor, I thought, that Mike Tomlin put together to beat Atlanta down in Atlanta. Here's my concern on Monday night. Outside of Zach Bond, there was no pressure from really anybody. I mean, Nolan Smith, Huff, there was a little bit, as you said, from Sweat. Because if you let Kirk Cousins sit back there and you don't perform and bring pressure and you don't put pressure on that guy, the Steelers have exceptional pass rushers.
Yeah, they do.
Exceptional scheme, and they play that old style Tampa 2 defense.
Yeah,
with great pressure. Tomlin's from that Tampa 2 with Tony Dungy, so you saw that Tampa 2 and then what they threw at Cousins. So I say this to you: is that a concern going into that game? Because if you don't get, and I don't care any NFL quarterback, Gary. Like, look at Sam Howell last year when you didn't get pressure on him. He had 800 yards in 2 games versus the Eagles. Yeah. Does that concern you going into that game Monday night? Is the amount of pressure?
I think it definitely does because in that area they really didn't come up. You know, I mean, look at the offensively. Really,
414 total yards Green Bay had.
I mean, and really, there were a lot of times.
Gary, in 58 plays they did that.
Yeah, and the thing is, they misfired because of the turf and dip times where it had nothing to do with the Eagles defense.
Again,
where they misfired. Either the guy, he threw the ball a little behind, the guy was slipping and stuff. The guy was open. So the defense has to play considerably better. They got to play much better. They did do a good job. And that's why this is such a strange thing. They go in, they had those stops early in the game. Tremendous stops down there in the red zone. But as the game went on, there was some horrible plays where you're going like, is this tackle football? I mean, the guys just run it. I mean, so they got to get off blocks. Guys got to get off the blocks and make plays. And so they got to play much better. And so there's a challenge ahead of them. And, I mean, I don't know how really they're going to play, but they got to play better. I mean, they got to get better against the run. I mean, that running game, I mean, the guy's running up through the gut of the defense.
163.
Nobody's even touching the guy. I mean, averaging 8 yards a carry. And, that's not defense. I mean, how could it be that bad? And then you get out of there with a win. But they know they got to play much better. And it's just amazing that you had those stops at the beginning of the game where you got great defense down there in the red zone. And then ultimately you're playing that poorly where there are guys open all over the place and they're just gutting your defense where the big holes running through, the guys just running. And I mean, come on, it was horrible. I got to go back and look at it because I haven't looked at it to see who was doing what really, look at it closely. But they got to play much better.
Hey, Gary, I completely, I
got to like wash my hands of that. In fact, you go in there, you look at that film, you want to wash your hands because there was parts of it just were horrible when you talk about the run defense. I mean, like what kind of run defense? The running backs just full stride, untouched. You're going like, wait a minute, are they trying to tackle him? So guys got to get off blocks. They got to play much better. And they're very fortunate they got out with the W. That cleans everything up is that you get out with the W, but they know they got to play better. And I think Jalen's going to play. He knows that he'll go from now on. He's got all the talent. You don't need to force anything. Take what they give you. And, you can put up a 40 spot. Pretty simple. I mean, because they really they would have scored 40 points if they were taking care of the ball, so.
Hey, Gary, finally here, I want to leave you with this. I know that, you do a lot of stuff with the NFL Alumni Association, and I'm just curious what you thought of that football field that they put the players on, man. I mean, it looked like the Super Bowl of 23 when the Eagles were playing against the Chiefs. I mean, just your takeaway on what you saw with those guys. I mean, you want to have a good showing, but Jesus criminy, man. You don't put NFL guys on a soccer field. Soccer dudes are not built like NFL guys.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know what it is that you have because going into the game, I'm going like, why do I feel like the turf is going to be messed up?
I did too.
You know, why am I feeling like this? Because they're going out of the country. Whoever, somebody dropped something somewhere where the turf, and right away, immediately guys start slipping all over the place. So that's something that they got to tighten up. I don't know where, the ball's been dropped at, but somewhere in there, something is awry with why you have all these surfaces like that. And much like the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and you hate to see that because, guys can get hurt, and you don't want it to cost somebody a game either, but it really, who knows, maybe in the long run, it end up hurting the Packers more than the Eagles.
But Gary, it makes the product look sloppy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. It was total negative. And you're going like, where are they missing it at?
Yeah.
Like,
are you really telling me the local ground crew guys are better than the National Football League ground guys? I find that hard to believe.
It makes you think, well, they need to send some NFL guys down there. And maybe they got to go a month ahead to get the turf right, because you don't want somebody to get hurt because of that, or if it costs somebody a game, which and it doesn't look good where you got everybody slipping. That doesn't look good. But going into it, I'm going like, why am I feeling like the turf is going to be horrible? And boom, time the game starts. See 3 guys start slipping. You're going like, man, what is going on? Why is this got to happen? They got to get some kind of answer to that,
it looked like Washington, D.C., the federal government had saying what kind of field it was, because if they have anything to do with it, nothing will happen.
They could botch up things. My goodness, don't let the government have it, man.
Absolutely. That's what it looked like. Hey, when they say WIC and government check, that was a government field.
Yeah, you're right. That was a government field. The thing is, I felt bad. Why am I feeling that this turf is going to be bad?
I know. I go, there's no way. And it was raining, and I went, forget it. This thing's going to be a train wreck. This thing's a train wreck. Gary, thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Hey, have a good one.
You got it. That's Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia. By the way, Zander, we missed some super chats. Guys were super chatting during the interview with Gary Cobb, and I don't want to miss it. Balada could teach tackling, attitude, and a major part of it. That's right, Sydney. Tackling is an attitude. It's not a position. When you play defense, it's absolutely an attitude. Next one, Zander. Seals fighting songs. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. You ever hear cream of wheat? I got cream of huff. Cream of huff. There's a brand new cereal, cream of huff. Yeah, you got a milk carton with huff on it, and now you got cream of huff. Dallas kicker is going to be a big issue for the NFC. Great. I don't cover kickers. Kickers aren't football players. They're part of the game. It's kind of like a wedge in your golf bag. You use it occasionally when you're in a sand trap. Okay. I believe we can win in a shootout against San Francisco. Really? I don't. Cream of huff. Cream of huff. That guy, hey, we're going to start keeping tabs on his ass. We're going to talk about Nick Sirianni here in a minute, too. Holy shit. You know what? Hey, who's the name of that White House press secretary? What's his name? Jacques Cousteau? Jean-Pierre? What's her name? Jean-Pierre? The chick that's at the White House. It's like the White House spokesperson. Jean-Pierre. That's who Nick. Every time I see Jean-Pierre talking, I think of Nick Sirianni. There's nothing truthful when Jean-Pierre at the White House is talking. Okay? Hey, save it. I don't really care. Yeah. So we're gonna hit on Fredo Sirianni here and some of the comments that he made. Yeah. Hey, Yale. Cream of Huff. Let's see what else. Bryce Huff reminds me of Spam. He's like the fake meat. Okay. Sills, do you watch the 22? I did. Okay, one more time. Fat Mac. Hey, Fat Philly. One thing, man, that for me, I was concerned about the late throws watching the 22, actually. All supers go to the front. Absolutely, my friends. You guys are really great. I did watch the 22. Yeah. Fried Spam isn't bad. My wife likes that shit. I don't know. Spam in a can. I'll take it out here. Thoughts on Jurgens' play? Guys like TJ and Micah. I thought Jurgens played well. We're going to talk more about this. It's week 1, Sills. Let's see if he shows 2 and 4. And Michael Parsons was going against the backups in Cleveland. Both their tackles were out. And but that's not his fault. He absolutely killed it. Sills, with Michael starting cornerback 2, or Mitchell, excuse me, and Rodgers being switched to NB, or Ringo will be NB, and Maddox be switched to safety for Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson was terrible. You watch him on the 22, he was terrible. Gardner Johnson was not very – yeah, there you go, Forte. Forte. Gardner Johnson was liverwurst. Hey, we should do that because I'm kind of hungry. Bryce Huff, Spam. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Ground beef. N'Kobe Dean, a hot dog. Zach Bond, filet mignon. Darius Slay, filet mignon. Gardner Johnson. Let's see. Spam. Reed Blankenship, filet mignon. Quinyon Mitchell. I'm going to give him a porterhouse. And I'll say Josh Sweat, a porterhouse. Not quite filet mignon. Yeah. The Kobe Dean's a hot dog. I don't know if that's any kind of steak, but he's a hot dog. Yeah, there you go. Stephen Smith. Hang on here. Well, let me revamp that. You're right. Gardner Johnson's a pork chop. Hey, a fat burger. No, there you go. The 2 D tackles were fat burgers. Yep. And N'Kobe was a hot dog. Filet mignon for Slay. Zach. Hey, man, I thought Milton Williams played pretty decent. I mean, I thought he was okay. And what kind of steak is kind of okay? A New York strip. Sure, all right. Give him a New York strip. He was all right, I guess. But the 2 guys in the meeting were fat burgers. Absolutely. They were fat burgers. Again, he had a fat burger, a hot dog, and a pork chop. Hey, Gardner Johnson, Avante Maddox was a hot dog too, man. He was a hot dog. He was not very good in that game. A ribeye? I'll give Josh Sweat a ribeye. He wins a ribeye. The 2 D tackles, yeah, they win fat burgers. Yeah, fat burgers and fries. The curly kind, too. Not the straight ones. Yeah, man. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Zach Bond was more of a Kobe steak. Them really expensive ones that you sit in your closet for 10 days and you eat it later or some shit. Hey, Kobe's a hot dog. You had a hot dog, a pork chop, a ribeye, filet mignon, and you had a fat burger. Couple fat burgers, though. Yeah. Jordan Davis, White Castle fat burger. Had a slider. They were sliders. Where's my boy Des the Jew? Tell me if you were right here. Yeah. All right, we're going to get into Nick Sirianni. We're going to reset. Hey, I like Big Macs. Leave those Big Macs to me. Wait a minute, Yale. Yale, do me a favor. Leave the Big Macs to Big Sills. Okay? I like Big Macs. Okay? Philly right here. Sileo's a corn dog. I like corn dogs. I'm good. I'll take a corn dog. Hey, wait a minute. Let's see here. Who won the turducken? Who won the John Madden turducken? Saquon Barkley or Zach Bond? Who gets the turducken? Saquon was awful good. Zach Bond was unreal, though. John McMullen's talking about Zach Bond in his sleep. I don't know how many times I tune on Zander and John McMullen. Hey, am I right, Zander? That damn Zach Bond. Shit. Where did I mean, I can't get over how he played. Hey, I can't get over how he played. Hey, John, what do you think of Zach Bond and his play? Well, where did that come from? I thought he was great. Who am I giving a turducken to? I'm going to give it to Zach Bond. I'm going to give him the turducken. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis get the fat burgers and the sliders. Sills looks like he eats the corn dog in one bite. Shit, how many corn dogs do you think I could eat at one time? I'll tell you this. I had some oysters over the weekend. There's no doubt, Senor, I could probably eat 56 of them. Senor, how many oysters do you think you can eat at one sitting? I think I could probably eat about 56. I could probably eat about 56 oysters. And by the way, have room for my appetizer and meal. Marinated mussels. Nice. All right, let me take a timeout. We're going to reset. Zander, where are we on the like list right now? How many fat burgers do we have in likes right now? 215. Holy shit, is that behind the 8 ball? Come on here, guys. Let's try to at least get to 300. Niner. So Niner thinks over there in North Beach. Niner, tell me this. So Niner, you think you could eat 100 up there at one of those seafood places in North Beach? San Francisco, North Beach, where all the paisans hang out. That's where DiMaggio's from. I loved it. Hey, the chocolate place is up there, isn't it, Niner? The Godiva chocolate place, isn't that up there? In North Beach, around there? We love going to a place called Pasta Pomodoro up there, man. There are so many great Italian restaurants in North Beach. Wow. Very underrated. Chinatown in San Francisco is also spectacular. But Niner all day could tell you, man, you go to North Beach, you want a really great pizza or you want some really great Italian food, North Beach is out of hand. They really have really great Italian restaurants. Okay? Seals the Cardinals surprised me on Sunday. They're better, Kyle. Kyle, they're better. Okay? Barbecued oysters? I don't know if I may have had those. I may have had those. Yeah, if you're ever in the San Francisco area, make sure. By the way, if you're in the Oakland area, go down to the ocean side down there. They got a little area down there. They got some nice places over there on that side. Very underrated. We lived out there for about 10 years in San Francisco. I enjoyed it. I really did. Thoughts on the Patriot defense? Does it shock you, Jared Mayo, Bill Belichick, that they were going to be good? I didn't think that they would shut down Joe Burrow the way they did. I ate at Francis Ford Coppola's restaurant at the beach, says Yale. Next time I'm out there, I'll do that. Forte says, my uncle opened a seafood place. Hard business. Yeah, especially out there. A lot of those places are grandfathered in out there in North Beach. Okay? I'll check it out, Sills. Never tried. You got to get up there, dude. North Beach has great Italian restaurants. Actually, I like San Francisco and that North Beach area. That's where they filmed one of the Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry movies. Was up there in that little plaza up there. The one when the priest got shot and that sniper hit him. Now, they filmed that movie up there. Clint eats up there all the time in that North Beach area. Really great. All right, hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild wood.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills, Power Hour. I don't think we're getting today Mike Golick on. Probably going to get him tomorrow. So we'll keep you abreast of that. Please hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 300. Guys, give me an update. Let's see if we can rally here and get to 300 likes here. I love what you guys have done. I can't thank you enough. The last 2 months, 3 months of what you guys have done to prepare us going into the NFL season has been absolutely great. Thank you so much. Again, we can't thank you enough. 224. Okay, let's see. We get about 76 more. I think we get there. Seals, you like Costco pizza? Not awful. But once again, dude. Pizza in a box, I don't know. If somebody came to me and goes, hey, here's Buongiorno's or whatever that shit is, the pizza in the box, no true-blooded Italian eats a pizza in a box. You don't eat frozen pizza. I mean, I would find it very difficult for me. That's white chicks or white people do that. White people eat frozen pizza. It's a white guy thing. Hey, you want some pizza? Sure. What's the pizza place? No, I got it here. It's like ready to eat Pizza Hut. No, that's all right. That's like more of a white guy thing. Big Seals is Italian. True and true. Okay. I eat very few things in a box. Hit the dislike button. Pizza. Yeah. Okay. Hey, let's try to keep this bitch on the rails here. So we're going to talk about Nick Sirianni here moving forward here. Yeah, let's do that now. Okay. Says, you think the Eagles have another trade? I think only if injury, Kyle. Kyle, only injury. I think they have an issue. Okay. Injury. I'm not white. I'm Italian. Amen. Yes, that's me. So, Sills, I don't see any reason why the Eagles can't be 3-0 when you. I'll tell you this. Hey, Sean, that Buck game looks interesting now, doesn't it? Sean, that Buck game looks interesting. I think the Bucks could be undefeated. I love calzones. Calzones is good. Not too much, though, cheese in the middle. You know what I mean? Don't overdo it on me. Like, if you overdo the cannoli, I'm not eating there again. Okay? I like, you know. Hey, man, I don't like anything thick crust. I like thin crust pizza. And I love New England pizza. Like, I have never had a pizza in Philly. That I won't lie. I've had a pizza in Baltimore. I've had a pizza in, obviously, New York. Connecticut pizza, for whatever reason. Hey, I don't know what this is. We've spoken to this before. I don't know what it is. But the pizza capital of the world is New Haven, Connecticut, and Connecticut. I have no idea why. But the pizza capital is Connecticut. Any good pizza in California? There's very few things that are good in California food-wise. I have not eaten at a restaurant in California, an Italian restaurant that I like. They got this place called Mickey and Louie's that I kind of eat at. The owner and I are boys. They make a pretty decent pasta. See, it's all about the pasta. It's all about the sauce. Okay? It's totally all about the sauce. If you don't have good sauce, none of your food is good. Like, my grandmother's sauce was the greatest sauce I've ever eaten. I have never, my wife makes it too, my aunt does. But it's the same recipe. Okay? But if you don't have a sauce, you can't make Italian food. Like, we ordered some food. We went down, it was my wife's birthday on Sunday. And we went out on the water. We ate at this place. And my wife goes, "What'd you think of it?" I go, "The sauce stunk." She goes, "Did you enjoy it?" I go, "No, not really." He's like, "You didn't enjoy that meal?" I go, "No, I did not." She goes, "Wow, are you finicky?" I go, "You've got to have a great sauce for me. If you do not have a great sauce, I'll let you know right away." That's not. Guy comes over and goes, "I hope everything was good." I went, Everyone at the table said, yeah, except me. I went, that's why my wife looked over. She goes, you didn't like it? I go, well, I like the steamers and the oysters. And I thought the crab claws were good, but I said, nah, the cupino was not very good. The sauce stunk. Okay. Sills is right. Nobody says no, it's sauce. Okay. Still stirring the pot. Here, speaking of stirring the pot, one more time to reiterate. Hey, by the way, I'm actually going to say something good about Nick Sirianni. I brought this up with Zander. Here's something positive about your boy, Nick Sirianni. Coaches that were hired in 2021. You ready? Brandon Staley, F, fired. Urban Liar, piece of shit, fired. Oh, unless you like guys who like to grind on young chicks and shit. He's your guy. Talk about a character coach. There he is. Urban Liar. One of the great bullshit artists in the history of coaching. Okay? Tremendous. Sills criticizing the wine list too. Now, I'm a cake bread Merlot guy. I may drink a Duckhorn every now and then, but I'm a cake bread Merlot. I'm a Merlot guy. Okay? I don't really, my wife will drink a Chardonnay, but I think my aunt drinks a Chardonnay too, but I think she's a red wine drinker too. But I'm a Merlot guy. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Urban legend, urban liar. Tebow would say otherwise. Well, look at this, Forest Hill. Hey, Yale, you want to educate Forest Hill why Tebow would love that piece of shit, urban liar? Tell him why he would like urban liar Tim Tebow. Why would Tim Tebow like Urban Meyer? Why would he? Does anybody know? He did one of the most egregious things on the planet. Why do you think Tim Tebow, getting closer, Yale? Yale's getting closer. Okay, Wayne, getting even closer. Wayne, played him over who? Played him over who? What did he do, if you remember right? Manufactured a stolen laptop story, threw him out. He had to go to junior college. He wins a national championship at junior college, goes to Auburn, and wins another national title. They gave Tim Tebow the job over Cam Newton because they didn't want a black quarterback being the face of the franchise, and they wanted Tebow. Cam was better. And it was better for recruiting. Not anybody in their right mind would think Cam Newton was not better than Tim Tebow. Tebow should have been the one to transfer. Cam was the better player. Who in their right mind thought Cam Newton was not one of the best college quarterbacks of all time? Manufactured a stolen laptop. You know what he did? I talked to Cam. I still voted for Cam for the Heisman. He went in and borrowed a laptop from a girl who was in the quad next to him. And when she didn't, and she had forgotten, she had given it to him, He had it right there on the desk. The campus police came in and arrested him. They used that to get him out of school. The girl even came forward and said, no, I lent it to him. Nope. Program wanted him gone. Program wanted him gone. Cam was like, she let me use it. Not in Gainesville. Wait, get this. Cam Newton couldn't get out of that, but Urban Meyer had 37 arrests in 5 years being the head coach at Florida. And all those guys like Aaron Hernandez were on the team. So let me get this right. Aaron Hernandez and the Pouncey brothers were firing shotguns off in Gainesville. Can you imagine Big Sills talking sports in Tampa, Orlando? My show was on in all those places when I was doing morning drive. And I'm, of course, blasting them. And we're on the flagship of the Gators. I was actually traded for the Gator Network, believe it or not. And I'm on the air barking going, so wait a minute. You allow Aaron Hernandez, who I didn't know was a murderer then, but he was kicked off the team a few times, brought back, kicked off, brought back, and the Pouncey brothers too. But you throw Cam out over a laptop misunderstanding? Okay. And then you look at years later, the integrity issues that he had at Ohio State with the coach that was beating his wife. You're trying to tell me that Urban Meyer didn't set Cam Newton up in Gainesville? Now, that's my opinion. But everyone knows it to be true, including Mike Bianchi from the Orlando Sentinel. Not too many people like him. Look at this. Look at Dodd. Racism still exists. Nothing new today. I know. That's Tyreek Hill. Hit the like button, my friends. Appreciate you guys all coming aboard here. So let's get into some of the things that Nick Sirianni said today at his presser today. Yeah, so you actually think they had a problem with Cam's skin? RTF, have you ever been to Florida? They had a murderer on the team, and they only cared about winning sorry sales. Wait a minute. Okay, do you know how many times? Do you know what they did to somebody in here? Tell the truth here. Thank you very much, Abe. Who was the guy that was the person that won the national title, Urban Meyer's first national title? Chris Leak. Do you know what they did to Chris Leak? They would take Chris Leak out in the red zone and put Tebow in so Tebow could score and take away from Chris Leak's ability to have a shot at winning the Heisman. He won the national title that year. Everyone thinks Tebow won 2 national titles. No, he was on one team that won the national title. They would take Cam Newton or they would take Chris Leak off the field when they got inside the red zone and towards the goal line, and Tebow would score. And Tebow got all the glory on all the work that Chris Leak did. Now, I'm just saying, how many quarterbacks do you know in college football, especially in today's college football, would allow you to take the starting quarterback out of an undefeated football team so that they could make their glory boy have the score inside the 2-yard line? It just so happens Chris Leak was black. I don't know. So don't talk to me about Florida football. You'd be hard-pressed not to know that I know almost everything about all the programs. They took Chris Leak out. He won the national title. Chris Leak's the guy that led him, not Tebow. Tebow won 1, not 2. He was on 2. You forgot that, didn't you? Yeah, because it wasn't reported. Because you know why? Majority of the Florida media are all Gators. Imagine Sills on the air when all of the sports editors back in the day, from the St. Pete Times and the Tampa Tribune, the Orlando Sentinel, the Tallahassee Democrat even, the Gainesville Sun, all were Gator graduates. And I'm saying this shit on the air. By the way, when I was saying all this stuff on the air, I was traded to Tampa because I was doing my show in Orlando. And I was traded, and Linda Bird, who ran the entire region, traded me for the Gator Network. So the Gator Network was based in Orlando. She went like this. I'll tell you what. Okay. If that's how you want to do it. If you want Sileo to come to Tampa, you have to give me to Tampa. You have to give me the Gator Network too. They moved the entire Gator Network to Tampa for me. It's a true story. Gabe Hobbs did it. Yeah. I was traded to Tampa with the Gator Network. Sil's hate for the Gators has no bounds. That would be correct. Hey, honest to God, Twiz, if that thing was hit by a nuclear bomb, I would drink a Corona, sit in my couch, and probably light a couple stogies up. I'd be okay with that. I don't have a problem. You know how they say that team up north? When the Ohio State guys are talking about the team up north, Michigan. Okay, well, I say this. The team on 75 with the Crocodile Pond. Yeah. There's no love lost between the Gators and Canes. None. You have to live like Zander. How about the guy that poisoned the Auburn tree? The guy, the Alabama guy who poisoned the Auburn tree. Tree been around for like 250 years. Zander, you know what I'm talking about, right? Auburn had this tree in like the schoolyard. Well, I guess this was maybe during Cam's time. They had beaten Alabama. The guy went in there and poisoned the tree. Killed the tree. They arrested the guy, and I think they actually threw his ass in jail because he poisoned the tree. Poor tree. What'd the tree do? God dang it. You poisoned the tree? Yeah. Hey, the guy assassinated the tree at Auburn. Like, dude, what'd the tree do? All right. Yeah, hey, Kyle's like, who cares about the tree? I don't know, man. That was like one of their big deals there at Auburn. The Alabama guy goes in, I'm killing the tree. You beat our team, I'm killing the tree. Killing the tree. All right. Yeah, I mean, look at Sirianni here. Urban Liar. Dan Campbell's good. Arthur Smith stinks. He got fired. The guy in New York, the Jets, Salah is on a hot seat. And David Culley, he was blown out. He was a sacrificial lamb there in Houston after that whole debacle there. Sirianni and Dan Campbell are the only 2021 coaches that survived and were decent. Bro, I remember all Florida in-state wars. James, those things were insane. The FSU and Miami, Florida games, they were insane. They were so big. I don't ever remember playing those teams when those other teams weren't undefeated. I mean, they were always undefeated. And I'm very proud that I've got a game balls from being a Florida State and Florida games. I got a couple game balls playing in those rivalries. I'm an out-of-state kid, too. I usually don't do that. Bubba Gump down in South Florida. Bubba Sills loves shrimp barbecue. Yeah, they got that down there in South Florida. I may have had it a few times. I may have had it. Oh, those rivalries were so good, James. FSU's a great campus. Fantastic campus. Florida's got a great campus, too. That stadium is dope. The one thing about the Gator stadium that I will say, which is crazy, did you see how, if any of you watched that game against the Canes and Gators, I don't know if you saw it too, Zander. Dude, from like here to where my wall is here, there's very little room from the sidelines. I mean, it's very little room. And those people screaming at you like that, I've never been in a place where the fans are on top of you like that. And there's 87,000 or 90,000 fans in there. And it is loud. It is loud. I mean, you lose your voice because you're screaming. You got a guy right in front of you. You lose your voice, you're just screaming. I mean, you look up, that thing goes like this and it tears up. Man, there's 90,000 in there, and it is loud. One of the loudest, not the loudest place I've ever played. And it is hot as Hades in there. Now they don't have AstroTurf. They have grass in there, but they used to have AstroTurf. They used to have a little sundial, or not a sundial, but a thermometer down there. I played a game once. It was 127 degrees on the turf. And by the end of the game, the skin underneath your feet were peeling. It was so hot. Your shoes actually started melting. You had to wear a couple different sets of shoes on that AstroTurf back in the day. Your feet peeled because the skin was coming off. That's how hot it was. I'm not kidding. Jerome, I think, one year lost 32 pounds in a game. We're flying back to Miami, and in the aisles, all you see is like 40 IVs in all of our arms. Planes going back and forth. The IV bottles are going like this. I mean, Jerome lost like 30 pounds one game. I'm sitting next to him. We're sitting here, and he goes, he's freezing cold. I go, what's the matter? He goes, they say I lost 30 pounds. I'm like, what? Jerome was a big dude, 315, 320. That's big back in the day. Think about this. Me and Jerome were both 290 up. I was 290. Jerome was 30 something. They didn't have those back in 86 like that. They were little dudes, 258, 262. We were 300-pound guys running 4.8s. These two giant dudes. I lost, I think, 15 pounds. Jerome lost 30. We're sitting on the thing home, and I'm eating. He can't raise his arms, man. He's freezing cold. He lost 32 pounds that day. I was like, holy shit. They put him in the hospital to get his fluids up. We lost anytime you played those games, especially at that place, you put your body on the line there, man. Holy cow, did that place make you lose weight? I played in there twice. Man, it never disappointed. It never disappointed. Need more creatine? I don't know, whatever, man. Sills, what was Jerome's bench? Close to your 5'5"? No. Here, Matt, here's the one thing about Jerome. Funny, Zander go, my best bench is 625. But that was years later. I was 28 years old, maybe even higher, maybe 29 when I did that. When I benched 535, I was 19 years old. Okay? I was 19. And when I did that, I mean, Kevin Fagan actually, I think he did 560, but I did 880. I did an 880 squat. And in college, I think I did 750 squat. Here's Jerome. I don't ever remember seeing Jerome over 300 pounds in a bench, maybe 315. He did squat a lot, like 650, maybe 680. But I'll tell you one thing he could do. He picked a guy up that was 315 pounds, and he could throw you from one end of the room to the other. He's just that country dog. The guy picked somebody up like Reggie, throw you across the room. He it used to aggravate me because, honest to God, this is going to sound so racist. This guy had a bucket of Popeyes. Popeyes is big in South Florida. And he loved it. Put it down, no weight belt. Went under there and did 680 for one rep. Picked his bucket up and goes, go back to work, Sileo. I said, fuck you. And, I had to work my ass off. That guy was he was a country strong dude. Wasn't a weight room guy. But I'll tell you what, he could pick an old lineman up and throw him through a wall. He was just big old ass on him. And he could play. What a powerful man. Like, let me say this to you. You don't think you're ever running 163 yards against Reggie White and Jerome Brown. And I don't care if you have Roger Craig, Eric Dickerson, Walter Payton, any of them guys. You think you're going for 200 yards rushing versus them guys? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay? I don't think so. You ain't running the ball on them boys. But when you got fat burgers playing D tackle right now for the Eagles, you can drop 163 on them guys. You ain't dropping 163 on Jerome Brown and Mike Pitts and them dudes in the middle in there. That ain't working. that was one of the absolutely greatest run defenses of all time. I mean, dude. Hey, Forrest, here's a dream for you. Could you imagine this offense and that defense together? Forrest, think about this. That defense with Seth and them dudes and this offense. I do think Cam Ward's got a shot at the Heisman. By the way, here's my list on that. Thanks for writing that down. Here's my list right now. And I do have a Heisman vote. I got Quinn Ewers, #1 for the win over Michigan. Forgive me, I don't know how to say the kid's name from Tennessee. Nico Lamabaliva, quarterback, Tennessee. I've got the Boise State running back, Janita. I got Cam Ward 4th, and I've got Carson Beck, quarterback, Georgia. Those are my top 5 guys. You have 5 placed votes that you have to do weekly with the Heisman folks. I should probably show you my ballot I have to fill out every week for the Heisman. Yeah, no, I've got him up there. Cam's been impressive. Now, last week was FAMU. Let me get to Nick here. I got to get to this. I want to get to Sirianni. Had a presser today. There we go. Here's Nicky. Some good things he said. He said some good things. Guys, please hit the like button. Seals, that 2010 Bears defense was pretty good. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. The 80s 49er teams were underrated defensively with Lott and those guys and Kevin Fagan on them. The Gang Green defenses, the Bear defense, the Eagle defense. Cowboys weren't good then. They weren't good defensively then. Minnesota had a really – you guys remember a guy named Keith Millard? This is like a little way – this is way before Zander's time. You guys remember Keith Millard? Okay. Sydney, I missed your chats. No, we got all the super chats. We got all the super chats. Dick Sills, I just saw your football highlights from 93. You were a beast. Actually, that was 86, but I was number 93. Yes. Thank you. And get this. Think about this, Samuel. We had other guys that played just as good, if not better, than me. And that was a pretty good tape, right? Jerome Brown was next to me. A bunch of really great players. Great players. And a friend of mine at Miami put that highlight reel together. So let's get to Nick. Keith Millard, Hall of Famer. He was a former Defensive Player of the Year. He was a really good player. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he was a really good football player. Sills, Miami or Bama? Des the Jew. Who do you think? All you have to do is look at the guys who go in Hall of Fame every year. I don't see any Alabama guys. All Canes guys. Every year we put 3 Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When's the last Alabama guy to go in? Let me think. Who's the last Alabama guy to go in the Hall of Fame? Derek Thomas? Well, wait a minute. Bama guy's still playing. Okay, well, let's figure this out. What current player in the game right now? And Nick was there 17 years. Thank you, Chester. Nick was there 17 years. So will Julio Jones get in? Yeah. Will Derrick Henry? Probably. Who else? None of your quarterbacks. Any defensive tackles? Any defensive linemen? No. None of these guys are going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They made a lot of money, though. Let's see. Is Hightower? Maybe. Who else? Patrick Surtain has a shot. Cornelius Bennett needs to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Cornelius is a dear friend of mine, and he is without a doubt jobbed. Okay? Roll fucking Tide. Fuck the Tide. Hey, the new guy. Hey, he struggled a little bit against USF. Oh, USF? Where the hell's that? Oh, yeah, in Tampa, South Florida. Hey, yeah, that was a little limp getting out of the gate there against the Bulls. Is that what they are? I can't wait to see the new guy. Don't worry. About 3 years, that thing will look different. Roll MF and Tide, says Des the Jew. Hey, yeah, Forrest Gump will be the next Bama Hall of Famer. The next Bama Hall of Famer is going to be, you got it, Forrest Gump. Oh, that's right. Kenny the Snake went in. That's right, man. That's right. He did. That's right. He did go in. USF band played at halftime in Tampa, Washington game on Sunday. I always have to love USF because Leroy Selman was the athletic director and started the football program. Forrest Gump, number 44, Snake Stabler. How come all these guys are 100 years old? I don't see any local or current guys. Come on, Des. Did you name me one guy? He's gonna. How many? Let's see how many Hall of Famers. Jimmy and Dennis Erickson, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Stapp, Cortez Kennedy, Michael Irvin, Jim Kelly. Geez, do I need to continue? To help, Frank Gore's going in too. Reggie Wayne's going to get in. Devin Hester got in. Jimmy Johnson got in. This is tiresome. It's tiresome naming all these guys. Damn. Yeah. All right. Sean Taylor and Jerome would have been first ballot Hall of Famers for sure. Des, championships? Every one of them. Cortez won one. Cortez was the defensive player of the year twice in the league. I think Ray Lewis was 3 times. Ed was twice. All right. Fredo Sirianni. Leonard Dickerson would have been the first lineman off the board. Didn't he have knee injuries at Alabama? Didn't he have a knee injury coming out of Alabama? I like him. He's a really good football player. He's a good football. Derek Thomas, sensational. Dear friends with him. He's a South Florida kid, by the way. Hey, Ultra. Hey, guys. Zander, how about this? Here were the safeties on the University of Miami, Sean Taylor and Ed Reed. What? And the defensive tackles were Warren Sapp and Vince Wilfork. Vince Wilfork was on the bench. Ed Reed, and the receivers were Andre Johnson and Reggie Wayne. Just saying. Okay. He liked the motor of Zach Bond. Where did Zach Bond come from? Is that the New Orleans Saints guy? Is that the Saints guy? Zach Bond? Or is that the 49er guy? I forget. I mean, where did he come from? Yeah, he's a Wisconsin kid. I know that. Yeah. He's the Saints guy? Let me tell you something. I hate to give that Gator Elf guy, Howie Roseman, any more love. But if this guy plays like this against Atlanta, I'm going to kiss his ass because I'm not going to believe it. I don't. Hey, I have more doubts in Zach Bond than I do in Brock Purdy now. There's no way he puts another performance like that up against Atlanta. No way. What says you, Zander? You think he plays like that against Atlanta? Because if he does, I may have to pucker up on Howie. If that guy plays like that again on Monday night, and he looks like that, I may have to do some ass kissing because what in the world? This guy's never played inside backer. If that guy plays like that, I'm telling you, I don't believe it. Okay? I do not believe it that he's going to do that. Kissing Howie's ass or kissing Fangio's ass. Howie didn't find that dude. Dude, Howie signs all the dudes. Did you hear Nick today at the presser? Howie built such a great team. What an ass kisser. Howie built such a great team. Talk about dropping to your knees. He did address this, though. Tackling was terrible. It has to be better. Too many missed tackles. You know what? If you go back, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't an Eagle thing, dude, go back and watch a lot of the defenses. It's overreaction Monday, yesterday, when it comes to quarterback play, because the quarterbacks really didn't play well. But I'll tell you what, go back and watch some of the missed tackles all over the league. There wasn't good tackling. And shockingly, the Cowboys had good tackles. Okay. They got to be better against the run. We know that. 163 is not cutting it. It's just not cutting it. He goes, Brandon Graham played well. BG, I don't need you in week 1. I need you in the playoffs. But they needed him in that Packer game. You know why? They were getting nothing from Cream of Huff. They were getting nothing from him. And the other stiff. Mekhi Becton, I did see it. He played well. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed that he played well at. Controlling the dude in front of him. He did really good at it. And he kept him in front of him. I don't think he got pushed back for being as tall and as big as he is. You know, I don't think he ever really got back in Jalen's face. And the guy ever put a really good rush on him. I thought he played well for the opener. And that was a pretty good guy he was playing against. Mekhi Becton played pretty good. Okay? Thought he played well. Cam Jurgens. He said that Cam Jurgens played really well. Had some really nice plays. He said also, too, that was a communication issue. As I said there would be. You know, it's funny. I'm like Nostra Big Sills. It's like Nostra Big Sills. I said there'll be communications in the game because they hadn't played or practiced in a game setting. He snaps the ball too soon. There's a turnover. That's between the quarterback. Some of you guys are going like this. Well, that's not on Jalen. Yeah, it is. It's on Jalen and the center. It's communication. Hello? You know, when Jalen and the wide receiver don't run the same route, that's on the quarterback and the receiver not being on the same page. It's the same thing. Okay? It's the same stuff. Well, the center, he snapped it too soon. Well, that's on the quarterback and him. Got to be on the same page. There was something here, if you go back and watch the film. Hurts did spread the ball around. 8 different dudes touched it. Okay? So between the blitz, spreading the ball around, and Zander thought he's going to get me going. Sills, 50% of his passes were across the middle. Well, that's where his turnovers came too. He still struggles in the middle of the field. They want him now to throw the ball in the middle. They have to. If you're going to spread the ball around, you have to attack the middle of the field. He's still weak there. The weakest part of Jalen Hurts' game is the middle of the field. There lies the difference, once again, between Brock Purdy and Jalen. Purdy makes those throws across the middle of the field. It's every quarterback that plays in that Kyle Shanahan, they attack the middle of the field. Hurts struggles in that area of the field. And you know what? There's a ton of traffic. It's easier to throw to the numbers. Okay, you got a clear lane and a clear sight in pass routes, in passing lanes. I mean, you got to attack the middle of the field. Where the hell is Goddard in that process? He did spread it around. I got to say this about AJ and Devontae. Those guys were really good in that Green Bay game. It's the best duo in the league. It is. I don't know what San Francisco has, but that duo they have, you're so worried about them. Other guys are open, wide open. They're good, man. I'll tell you this about Hurts. I was talking to Zander about this. That dog mentality was on display. All right, let me take a quick timeout. I'll finish this up. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Thanks, Hills. Appreciate it, guys. Hit the like button, please. I want to finish up a little bit here with what Nick said today at his press conference. They were 2-4 on the push, on the tush push. Not quite the success, huh? Dropped the ball, didn't get it on third down. Plus, I don't like the players behind Hurts pushing him like that. You're going to get a roll-up on that. I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather not run that play. He was asked again about preseason. And of course, he can't answer this because you know why? He's been told. We look more at availability and durability than sitting there and having a game. Personally, I think the Eagles were good with a win. They want to win, obviously, but I think they would have been okay with a loss as long as they're healthy. I'm not sure that I disagree with that because you know why? At the end of the day, Sirianni's 4-0 in openers. I mean, shit. We're, not much of a leg to stand on when you're talking about that stuff now. The turnovers, obviously, he says that he'd like to have them back. And that's just coach talk. He liked the way Quinyon played. He says he's poised, and he goes, the moment's never too big for him. You see that with him, too. I see why Nick Saban liked him. This guy's got to – what I didn't like was, calm down, kid. You're going to get called for touting and taunting, I mean. You're going to get called for that. But I appreciate the energy. I do. I appreciate it. I don't want to coach that out of him, but just keep yourself a little bit kind of more poised there a little. You know what I mean? Looks like Love is only going to be out 3 to 6 weeks. MCL, that's still in a very weak NFC. I'm not sure that that's that bad a thing. So, I mean, I think they got away with what could have been a catastrophic knee injury to Jordan Love. But it's an MCL sprain, which could be, and plus he's so young. You're looking at a guy who's a very young kid in his 20s. I'm saying that's going to be more in the middle, probably somewhere around 4 weeks. And that's not going to knock the Packers out. The Packers did damage last year. I believe they were 9-8 at the end of the year. And I still think they can get into the postseason. Because how many teams did we really see in week one that we went, wow, you want to use the Eagles? Okay. Detroit. 49ers, obviously, right? All right. We're going to try to get Mike Golick tomorrow. Get him aboard with us here and get his thoughts on what he saw week one. Guys, great stuff. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you again. You're blowing the channel up. All the super chats, all the likes. Thank you again. Joe, Big Z, we appreciate it. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.